As we say hello and welcome to the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway for Season 6, Race 2 of the SAAC Cup Series. Hello, my name is Christian Delgado, once again alongside Matthew Prochaska here inside the HVTV booth, and obviously a barn burner of a finish last week from Daytona. Duncan Faw getting his first win in the Season 6 campaign after kind of a last lap pass, almost a William Byron-esque last pass for the win there. The big win happens as Connor Shafari gets turned out of the race lead, takes a bunch of drivers with him. Duncan Faw able to drive through the fog, drive through the smoke, get his first time win tonight. But obviously our first race here from the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway coming into week number 2. Very exciting racetrack. Another, in a different way, another multi-groove racetrack here in Homestead.
Yeah, and obviously, talking about Duncan Faw, Christian, in that 61 car, what a way to get started with that momentum and, hoping to carry that forward here in Homestead. But yes, here at Homestead, once again, for the SAAC Cup Series, obviously going to be returning here with all 3 NASCAR National Series races for the championship for this year and the foreseeable future. So very cool to kind of kickstart and, kind of build up some more hype to that event that everyone's been looking forward to so much for so many years after all those championships out in Phoenix, Arizona. But now going to be all about Homestead for 2026, especially here as we return with SAAC. So going to be a lot to look forward to with that multi-groove racing, like you mentioned, Christian. A lot of different strategies to play out there. We know and we've seen it at the network from the broadcast we've done in other series at this track, but there's so much momentum to be found on that high side.
Obviously, the top side is going to be a big game to play here. Who can run the top, who can make speed up top, and who can just, ultimately, you can't save tires a little bit on the top. So it's just ultimately about how can you make it work and how can you get down to business there. As we go down the track side, we'll take a look at your couple of fastest drivers here on track before we look at your point standings. And something to point out here, and it's something that's going to be a little bit interesting here as we show the race tonight. Obviously, SAAC stands for the San Andreas Auto Club Cup Series, so you're going to see a lot of Grand Theft Auto Miami Vice inspired schemes tonight here. We're looking at Chase Gibbons here. We'll go ahead and take a look at some other drivers who have some unique looking paints tonight. Obviously, GTA 6 coming out. Yeah, I believe it's like November 19th or something. So you have a lot of these Grand Theft Auto inspired schemes tonight out on track that you see now. Christopher Robinson. And one of those cars with the Roman numerals on the side of the car, and we'll show up, a graphic here, and that's what you'll see on the ticker, these Roman numeral numbers. So hopefully you know how to count your Roman numerals to see, what driver this is, because we have quite a few drivers here coming into Homestead with these, unique looking cars, unique numbers on the side of these next-gen machines.
Yeah, and looking at our paint scheme lineup, I see 7 different Roman numeral paint schemes spanning 2 different manufacturers, Ford and Chevrolet. We have the 2 car of Chase Gibbons, the 12 car of Christopher Robinson, the 17 of Declan George, which will be the only blue and pink Roman numeral machine. All the rest of these being pretty much identical, but pink and purple for the most part. The 20, I believe it's the 28 of Brad Suwaneski, Cody Riveras in the 35 car, and then we have Andretti Robinson in the 45, as well as Donovan David in the 94 car. So 6 or 7 cars that are going to be with those Roman numerals. A really, really interesting aspect of this series. And, that's such a cool thing to point out, Christian, because that just goes to show, the personalities of the drivers that come out here in the sim and, really put their creative nature on display. And, not to say that any of these other paint schemes, aren't creative in their own right, but definitely going to be pointing out a lot of those as we take a look at some of the drivers on track right now. Like you mentioned, Christian, few fast drivers. We have James Bomar in the 20 car leading practice right now.
Yeah, Bomar showed a lot of speed last season, and that 20 machine was, a championship favorite. Had to, chase down James Thurston for the Season 5 championship. Ultimately, James Thurston in the 82 machine for Precision gets the championship away from the 20 of James Bomar. We saw, a huge wreck on the last lap here between Bomar and Thurston, as Thurston got flipped upside down here across the line, winning his first championship here. So it was really, really interesting race last season. But coming into here, obviously Bomar showing a lot of speed here. But while we get the opportunity to, we'll go ahead and take a look at our point standings coming into Homestead here. You look here, Duncan Faw, obviously he'll lead the points out of Daytona. He wins the Daytona 250 there. So a really good start for him. You look further back here, Gabriel Dahari, Michael Walls, Justin Rott, Alexander Schumacher, Wyatt Roberts rounds out the top 6. You look back to 7th, Connor Zola, 8th for Malachi Drake, and I'll let Matthew take on the rest of the 9th on back.
Yeah, we take a look at Andretti Robinson, that 45 machine, one of those guys running those Roman numerals as mentioned, as well as Christopher Robinson in that 12 car. Then we have just outside the top 10 in that Toyota 51 car of Stephen Maggio, James Bomar leading practice in that 20 car. In 12th place, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in the 00, 13th position in that Ford Dark Horse Mustang. Ollie Reeves in the 31 car representing Chevrolet in 14th in points. Jason Rajcock in the 71 car rounds out your top 15. And then right on that cut line, we have 2 drivers of Connor Trafari in the 9 car and AJ Hyder in the 44 car.
Yeah, and I mean, you see, obviously, coming out of Daytona, the points are still going to be pretty tight. So if I'm any of these drivers, I'm not very concerned. Even if you're outside the top 20, 25, I'm not very concerned about, how things are looking and how things are going. But obviously, coming back to, Homestead, Matthew, we talked about the multi-groove racing. We talked about everything here. But we also have to talk about it being in the daytime, right? Obviously, a lot of the races we've seen here, not only in the O'Reilly machine, but here, in these cup cars have been at night, because obviously Homestead drives a lot better at night. You can just move around and do whatever you want. But here at the daytime, you saw a bit of slipping sliding out of this 53 we're looking at now. Chris Lilly, how do you think that's going to change the way these drivers are going to approach the track?
Well, Christian, I think when you think about daytime racing versus nighttime racing, whenever there's sun on the track, it means the track's going to be hotter, right? It means your track conditions are going to be less, less in your favor as a driver from the sim perspective, and you're going to have to be fighting that car. It's going to be sliding around, right? Rubber and hot racetrack do not work well together. It really is a dirty dance when it comes down to it. And so, you think about night racing, right, Christian? Track cools down, gripped up, you get those lap times that you want to see. And I feel like you can really just, settle in and feel your car underneath you. And, it does make for some really good racing, especially as you transition from, the evening time into the night, especially because of that transition between the two very different and contrasting styles of racetrack and racing that has to, appropriately treat that. As we see already out of shape coming off of turn 4, spinning down the front straightaway with that 53 machine. But all this to say, Christian, I think the strategy is just going to be one that is focusing more on, saving tire, keeping the car underneath you for the most part, and obviously, just making sure you're there at the end for the finish.
No, I definitely agree. It's just about keeping the car underneath you, knowing what you can run, right? A lot of these drivers can go up there, rip the wall. Some aren't as good at doing something like that, right? So they have to learn. Maybe the bottom line is going to be a little bit better for them. It might be not faster, but it will be better for them. And look at the 60, the Smithfield machine, Nicholas Budlimick, as we on our practice here. We'll get ready to go in the qualifying here from Homestead. But it looks like James Bomar, Chase Gibbons, and that number 2 going to take the field here into qualifying.
Yeah, and as we think about qualifying, Christian, one thing that I always like to point out is, the procedures and just how you get into the headspace as a driver in the sim or in real life to, put down that hot lap or several hot laps, right? And, for me, what always worked is, I definitely liked having my music on when I was in the sim, just kind of keep me in the zone, keep me, in the headspace that I needed to be in for qualifying. I never really liked the silence. I know some people, take the headphones off, mute the VC. I've always liked to just treat it just like practice. It's getting out on track. It's not trying to do too much, but doing just enough so that you can, put yourself in a good position for the start of this event. But obviously, there's a lot of different approaches to it as we take a look at this 27 State Water Heaters machine. Obviously, a long-term sponsor of the Burton family in racing, and particularly Jeb Burton right now in Xfinity, I believe, still sponsors him. So, yeah, getting ready for qualifying here.
Yeah, and remember, only one lap here for the SAAC guys, so it's do or die right now. There's no do-over here. You'll see the 27 to Downey up the track here, and that's exactly what you need to do. If you get one lap, you got to go up there, wrap the top, get as much momentum as you can out of 3 and 4. Start your lap here. We'll go on board here with the 27 here. You can show us a little bit around what maybe you would want to do here for a qualifying lap.
See right there already all the way up towards the outside wall. Let's take a look at the telemetry. upwards of 190 miles an hour going into turn 3. Getting down towards the bottom of the racetrack. Really trying to just pedal that vehicle and get the rear end to turn around and for it to just track all the way up towards that wall on corner exit. Carry as much speed over that start-finish line.
I think we're going to have a
car of Downey.
huge crash.
Yeah, wow.
And the 27 up to P4 right there. That it looks like it's a 32.5, so a pretty good lap for the 27 here. We'll continue to look at some drivers here. Is looks like Bascom out on track here, out of turn 4. It's gonna be hard to grab everybody here with only 1 lap, but we'll try our best to grab everybody that we can here. Like Bascom, here to start his first time lap.
Yeah, and another thing about this, qualifying is just kind of like you said, Christian. Knowing where you run well and where you don't run well is really important. And so, as you take to the track in qualifying, you want to take the opportunity to lay down that fast lap. But you always track time is really important no matter what. And so, if you use qualifying as an opportunity to just reinforce what you already know in terms of your strong suits or try to push that limit, it can really be a good learning experience. And obviously, wrecking out in qualifying after you've set your hot lap, not a problem. But think about real life. You can't wreck your car at any point. Leading up to the actual race itself. So there definitely a few big differences with the sim. But as we go into less than 2 minutes now in our qualifying, currently have the 44 car leading the board, AJ Hyder.
And you see Diego Roland go to P2 there, and one of those teammates there for the 44. You see the 68, another teammate of the 2 up front there, Shui, in the Shui Sportsbook machine on another kind of Miami Vice inspired scheme. Out of turn 4 to complete his lap here in qualifying. Like a 32.4. Jump him up to P11. Not bad for Shui there. A couple of drivers still lingering around back here. See Steven Maggio. Seen him have a lot of success here on the channel. He crosses the board there, P18 in that number 51 machine.
And we take a look at that, top 3 on back. See 32.2, 32.2, 32.4 basically from 3rd all the way to 12th right now. That 10th of a second already making up pretty much 10 spots of that first big chunk of this qualifying group. And we see right there the Ollie's machine already into the outside wall. That's going to scrub off a lot of time for Ollie Reeves. A pretty fitting sponsor for fitting first name, to say the least. But not so sure that qualifying time is going to be to the liking of the 31 machine. But currently 7th on the board, actually.
And he's just running some extra laps here, probably to get some practice for what he wants to do in the race. But yeah, good qualifying for Ollie. And it was in the championship 6 last season. Obviously not the best Daytona that I think he wanted to have, but this for a lot of drivers, we talked about it in the ARC series, just like here, it's a good, nice, hard reset for these drivers to kind of reset. This is kind of the first actual track that a lot of these drivers consider that we're going to. So it's going to be interesting to see. But you see AJ Hyder, Diego Roland, the 2 Uprise machines, top of the board here from qualifying. So it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, a day race here, 134 laps here from the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. A lot of laps to get it done here tonight.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to take a look at the weather and, find out just how treacherous it might be for these drivers in the daytime. But, like you said, Chris, you kind of read my mind. It is really a big reset. And no matter what the points say, this is a good opportunity to just, really just get into the zone as a driver and, find a rhythm for the season onward because, Daytona is Daytona, right? We know that it's unpredictable. We know that it can really elevate or, bury some people in the point standings right off the bat for a season. But that's not to say that, that's indicative of someone's progress and momentum moving forward. And so I think for a lot of these drivers, this is really just a really good opportunity to start the season off right. And so I always like the energy going into these events because everyone is just really trying to go out there and do their best and try to, dig themselves out of a hole that they might have found themselves in coming out of Daytona, or just, keep that positive morale coming out of Daytona moving forward if the outcome was one that was desirable for these drivers.
I definitely agree. It's either trying to get some momentum on your side or trying to build that momentum out of Daytona. But we'll go ahead and take a look at our starting grid here from Homestead. You look at AJ Hyder, Diego Roland, the two teammates there on the front row. You look further back here, there, Joe Kwan Stewart, Connor Chafari in that row too. James Balmar back there in P5 alongside Jockey Tarplin in the 6th place, Ollie Reeves in 7th, and Duncan Faw rounding out your top 8. And the top 10 will consist of Gabriel Dehari, Christopher Robinson in that number 12 machine.
11th through 20th on back, Matthew J. O'Brien in the 43 machine, going to start 11th. Alexander Schumacher, 68. Andretti Robinson loading in is going to be 13th starting position. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in 14th. Amir Bascom is going to be 15th in that 21 machine. Chris Downey in the 27 car, going to start 16th. Wyatt Roberts in the 42 machine, starting 17th. Chris Lilly in the 53 car, going to be 18th. Stephen Maggio, almost out of that top 20. He's going to be starting 19th in the 51 machine. And then Michael Walls in the 24 car, going to round out your top 20 here tonight.
Yeah, starting 21st on back there, Fidel Fabian in that
All right, fellas.
55 machine. You see Austin Doran back there.
10% power for the first time
And then in the
league.
22, Brad
Start will be on
Sisweski,
green,
Justin
restarts
Rott,
on the leader in the
Jamie
zone.
Wright.
You have a
Your top
choose
25, you
zone.
look at Connor
If you're
Zola,
late to the choose,
Cody-
remember that you
Cody
will be
Rivera,
joining the
Nicholas
tail end of
Wadlimick,
the
Chase
longest
Gibbons,
line,
and Gabe
single
Kazola.
file. Again, if you're not
rounding out your top
choose,
30.
single file tail end of the longest line.
Then
If
we
you're
got
pitting under
Donovan
yellow, make
David
sure you're
in
using
the 94
far
car,
right
starting
travel
31st.
lane.
Malachi Drake in the 90 car.
The only other
And
thing I
Jason
gotta say is
Rajkok in the
imagine
33
how cool it
machine.
would be if we just
We
went
also have
flag to flag green.
Lorenzo
Just like
running
imagine
out that
how
row
cool that would
17,
be.
as well as
You know,
Miles
new instance
and
system
Kennedy
is
in row
play.
18.
Last
And
year
rounding
we
out
were a
our
little bit lenient
field
because
is going to be
of the two-way
George
this
in the
week. From
19th
jump,
position,
we do have
19th
race
row
control,
rather, with that teal
moving
and
people
purple
up and down through tiers.
GTA machine,
So
Roman
things
numeral
can,
machine.
things
So
can kick
definitely
off
something to
right
keep an eye
away if
on.
you're causing shit. So think
I'll pull
about the
up your
long-term
thumbnail real
strategy.
quick
I know
here,
it won't really hit everybody
as-
how harsh the penalty
Oh,
system is until
well, we'll just,
someone
I
actually
guess we're
gets
going to go
suspended,
green
but
here. We'll
I
try to
think
get
that's how
the sound figured out here, but we're going to get ready to go green here. 34 laps here. Green flag in the air. And wrecking already on the start. Caution will leave here early.
Imagine how cool it would be if we would flag
Just like
the
that.
flag.
Already under caution here
I mean,
at
I don't think
Homestead.
That was anything that was going to happen. Let's be real here.
We'll grab your right thumbnail for you guys
All right,
at
bro, I'm
home.
all right
Obviously,
with
we got has to do this
Imagine
kind
how
of
cool it would be to make it a two-turn one without
last second
nose
here,
damage.
so obviously forgot to put the thumbnail up,
So
but obviously
Jake,
we
the next time you're
cannot
checking up, don't run into that
get
thing.
our voice shut off, so we'll just go ahead and
Let's fucking
try our
go.
best to
32 laps left.
mute this chat for you guys.
SAAC is back.
Call it a bit of a radioactive here on the HVTV network for you guys back home. But yeah, definitely want to make sure we're giving you guys the coverage that we want you to get. And as we are under caution right now, yeah, just kind of chaos on the start of this race, getting up to speed, going green here. Remember, this is the first time all these drivers are out on track in a big pack like this, so some learning curve on a track like this for sure.
Now we'll see if we can go back and look at the restart here, because this is where it all started. It looked like maybe Chris Downey involved potentially. Take a look and see what happened here. Said he received a meatball here. So let us go back and grab it. Maybe not. Well, regardless, it looks like we're gonna bring these cars to a slow once more. And AJ Hyder.
All right, choosing
Back to the spot
end of
is
this
we
lap.
still have the voice chat on. I even have it turned off in the chat, so we'll pull up the thumbnail one more time. We apologize for the
All right, now imagine how cool it would be if we went lap 5.
for
to the
for
end.
the I guess a
After
little bit
that.
of radioactive. We'll try to get this out of the way here. We will just turn off voice chat audio in general here in this settings. So hopefully that will fix that for you guys at home. We apologize for that, but back under caution here on lap number 3 here from Homestead. And obviously,
And right now, I think a lot of these drivers are just kind of trying to, make sure they got their bearings straight and try to get through this next restart cleanly. But, yeah, you definitely a bad spot to be in if you get caught up in an incident this early, further back in the pack.
no, exactly. And I think you saw that mistake there. Like I said, we didn't really get a chance to look at our race weather. So we'll go ahead and do this now, and this will might indicate. You look at that 85-degree air temp, 107 track temp. So that's pretty hot and slick for tonight's race. Humidity not going to mean a whole lot, but not only that, no cloud cover. Help cool this track off tonight. So I think right there you saw maybe some drivers spin the tires here on the restart, and get caught up there. Like I said, I think I saw Chris Downey. Yeah, it looks like he's already parked the car tonight. So unfortunate for Chris. Obviously, no fast repairs for tonight's race. And obviously, you see the choose cone coming into effect here for the first time here in the SAAC Cup Series. So it's going to be interesting to see. That's another aspect we'll have to talk about throughout the broadcast of what line does everybody choose here from Homestead. A lot of people like the restart on the top because you can build the momentum on that top side, but a lot of people like the bottom because for the most part, especially at these 1.5 miles, you can kind of just go flat out and just gun it there on the bottom side, make it stick. So it's going to be an interesting choice for all these drivers, but you see AJ Hyder picking that bottom side. You'll see I believe that's the 99, yeah, of Diego Roland back there up top. So it'll still be those two teammates, 1-2, leading us to green.
Yeah, and despite what people may say about the statistics with the top side, rolling better and getting that momentum, at the end of the day, I just want a good pusher behind me, right? I want someone who's going to be shoving me out front and giving me that momentum, physically, right? And so as we get up to speed here to go green, we're already going to be 3 wide further back in the pack.
Yeah, it's 2-3 wide further back there. The 99 side by side with the 9 of Trafari, but once again we saw that top side starting to build some momentum. You see once again, Matthew said 3 wide further back here. That's the 61 of Duncan Fa, last week's winner. Looking bottom 3, almost contact with the 72 of Dahari.
Yeah, and that 00 of, I believe it's Jurgensmeyer, really out of shape there on the top, almost got into the wall. We have a lot of people just jockeying and jostling for position here now. All the way to the bottom of the racetrack they go.
Yeah, this is what Homestead is. You can just kind of go wherever you want. You see the 21 of Bascom up there in that middle side there, that Sunoco machine. Everybody just trying to jockey for position, trying to be aggressive. You still see Duncan Fa trying to fight hard on the bottom side, trying to make something work there. You'll see the 31. Ollie Reeves jump in front of him, kind of put that little bit of a dirty air on the front of the 61. Force Duncan to back out of it a little bit. And Ollie will keep that spot there. But further up, still AJ Hyder. He's got a sizable gap here, almost 6/10. Back to Diego Roland trying to hold on to the second place spot. But here comes Connor Trafari up on the top.
Yeah, really good jump for AJ Hyder. And as long as these guys, continue to battle back and forth, run side by side maybe, that's just going to allow AJ to pull out even further. But for the time being, as we look further on back from the safe light onboard of the 99 machine have rolled on, you see our 3 wide all the way up to the wall, all the way to the bottom of the racetrack by that paint. And this is definitely a multi-groove already being shown here as we see Trafari get a huge run down the front straight. He's going to pull the inside.
You'll see Trafari to the bottom there, going to try to wrap that white line, get the paint, try to make it work there. But you see the 99 really pinching him down there, forcing that 9's hand there. And Diego's going to hold on one more lap here. He'll keep that P2. And the more that they battle on, right, like you said, Matthew, the more time it's going to allow AJ Hyder to slowly, start to get away here from the rest of the field. Here you see the 25 up the track there, up an outside wall. He's going to lose a lot of speed here. Here comes the 72 of Dahari. Going to try to make that pass with P4. He does. And here comes the 79 Stewart on the bottom there. He's also going to make the spot up there inside the top 5.
Yeah, Joaquin Stewart moving forward. But yeah, as we talked about that 25 car of Shockey Tarpley, as long as those guys were battling for second, he was in a pretty good spot to try and capitalize there as well. But, getting into the wall just like that, can pretty much change your entire trajectory of these first opening 10 laps. And so we see right now, falling back a little more, is that 25 machine. And
you saw Shockey getting the wall there again in the 3 and 4. When you get in the wall there, it's pretty frustrating because, you're on that, wire's edge here at Homestead when it comes running the top. If you want to get up there, that the closer to the wall you are, the faster you go. And if you get up to the wall, you kind of can sometimes get a little bit frustrated with yourself. And then you'll continue to hit the wall and continue to give up time there. So I think it's smart that you see the 25 at the bottom, get a little harder reset, try to move forward again. But you see now, Shui up 5 spots from where he started. He's trying to make a move on the 25.
You see already the inside the 68 car. Ooh, he's going to dive it down in there. Fade way up the racetrack, but that progressive banking is going to help his car maintain straight line speed down the backstretch, and we see it right there. He's going to clear that 25 car. He's going to try to make his way into that top 5 if he can help it.
Yeah, and Chewy, I mean, in these next-gen cars, you can get away with kind of pulling slider just because of how the dirty air is, right? If you can get up there and kind of block the run that driver you're trying to pass can get, right? You get up there and block the dirty air through the center out, right? It kind of forces the driver behind the lift, right? And I think that's, you know, kind of the frustrating part that a lot of drivers have with this next-gen car now, right? You almost get paid to be that aggressive here and kind of burn your stuff up. And then the driver behind who's, you know, maybe being a little bit more careful or maybe a little bit more diligent with this car also gets punished because, you know, you get the dirty air and you can't even afford to, you know, go back and make another run at it. But you saw Shuey try to make the top work, tried to get to the top of the outside of the 79 machine. But you saw Stewart block the run there. Shuey still in that top 6 spot trying to look for P5.
Yeah, and you see right there, trying to pull to the inside to get that left rear quarter panel for some side draft. Momentum will work to the high side's advantage. He will have to tuck in behind him. That's Shuey in the 69 car trying to pull out now down the back straightaway, get a little bit of side draft, and then dive it down into the corner. You see, once again, he pulls the same move that he pulled on the 25 car of Tarpley. He's going to make it work and make it stick.
And Tarpley, I don't think it's going to quite get back to him to, like, do a crossover or anything like that. So, Shuey, 2 sliders in a row. He's up inside the top 5. Going to try to run down some of your other race leaders, but we see some racing further on back here. Ollie Reeves, the 21. You see one of those other GTA 6 machines of Christopher Robinson in this 12 machine. Battling it out here further outside. You see a car really loose outside of there. That's Andretti Robinson. Gonna have to jump his way back onto the racing surface.
Yeah, big time loose. I mean, that was way down the racetrack for sure. And you see right in front of him the 42 of Wyatt Roberts on that top side. Gonna maybe be side by side on corner exit here. And you can already tell, you know, running that top line, it just allows you to settle in and right in line right behind people, catch some draft on the straightaways, and, you know, try to get that preferred entry and arc into the corner from the top side. But right there, you see already, Wyatt Roberts is, you know, trying to just keep control of this car. Seems like you might have a handful of a race car right now for the 43 machine.
Well, and you think about it, we ran what it would say now, 13 laps here on this stint. This is where the tires are going to start to ill handle here, and this is when you're going to start to see, you know, that hot, slick track surface start to bite if you try to push a little bit too hard, try to get in the gas a little bit too early off of exit, try to drive it in a little bit too aggressively on a corner entry. You see now him take it 3 wide. That's Fidel. That's the and that's the 89 of Jamie Wright, and trying to make a move there. But you'll see now 2 by 2, side by side here, back here further outside the top 15. This is the battle for P20.
And you see already trying to make it work again with the 3 wide action. Fidel Fabian and Wyatt Roberts, you know, friends in the AWC ARC series that we've covered on the racetrack. So these guys have been familiar with each other's racing style. You see right there, looking back from Fidel Fabian. Really good run for him from the FAW creative camera.
Yeah, and you just see why he's struggling. Obviously, I think there was a little bit of air grief to the back of the 42 from the 89 there, and that's something that you have to think about here, especially at these tracks. Caution will wave, but you have to think about the air grief here throughout the race here. But it looks like caution waves here for the second time. See if we can find. Looks like Chase Gibbons in the. No, he's already parked it. We'll see. He's 1 lap down here. Well, maybe it was the 2 machine here. We'll have to see if we can find. Yeah, it looks like he towed to the pits. See, maybe he can show us what might have happened here. We can grab our cameras here tonight. Sims not want to work with us tonight here. We'll just see the 2 of Gibbons. Now the corner, they're going to battle. Oh, yeah, and just loose right there. And a huge hit to the inside wall.
Oh, man. Wow. Massive hit right there.
And that's going to be the end of the day for Gibbons. Remember, no fasty parries here in SAAC. So, and then the night there for the number 2, unfortunately. Obviously, a lot of those drivers were running special schemes tonight because it's Homestead, right? And obviously, GTA 6 coming to Florida and the Miami area. Really cool to see that. But unfortunately, Chase going to come home. Going to have to park that thing early tonight there. But you'll see most of the field coming down. Going to looks like at least top off on fuel. I'm interested to see what, yeah, everybody taking tires here. Only 19 laps, and now going to be 20 laps complete here across the stripe. Really interesting to see. Obviously, I'm not sure how many tire sets we have, but already on lap 20, and the majority of the field coming down going to take a new set of tires.
Yeah, you see right there that Uprise Fabrication 44 machine. First on the pit road, first off a pit road. No penalties permitting, but you see right behind him that 99 machine, Mobile 1 car. Been strong these front two for the most part of this event that we've had under green, but really haven't got that long run, Christian, that typically is, you know, quite fulfilling and quite entertaining here at Homestead, just in terms of seeing which guy has the best long run speed and who's able to kind of carve through the field and or, you know, dictate the field from the front of the pack with that outright speed. And so as we think about, you know, how this race could progress going forward, I would definitely not be surprised if we have a bit of shuffling in this top 5 from what we have right now.
Well, yeah, there's a couple of drivers who stayed out here on these oldie tires. Granted, I thought that this was maybe the move to go to. You saving a set, but, I mean, there's only 6 drivers who stayed out here, and, you know, they're drivers who weren't really up towards the front of the pack here. So it will be Gabriel Dehari. He was up here. I'll give him that. Steven Maggio, Jamie Wright, Nicholas Budlimick in that Smithfield machine, Brad Zizweski in one of those GTA 6 machines, and then Connor Zola in the 13 machine are the only drivers who stayed out here, and they're going to have, you know, 20 lap older tires compared to Diego and AJ back here, further back here. He'll start 7th and 8th, it looks like, from the looks of it.
And we'll definitely have to follow that progression through the front of the pack if they're able to take advantage of that fresher tire and not get held up. But also want to take an opportunity to shout out our live chats right now. 11 watching on YouTube, the Michigan Man. Really appreciate your support in the live chat, as well as Danish Cruises cheering on Wyatt Roberts in the YouTube chat as well. So really appreciate you guys' support. Keep the comments coming. We will check in with you guys periodically. So hope you guys enjoy the first 20 laps of this event as we get ready to go green once again with 51 car on the outside of the racetrack. Looking to make advantage of that top side, and then the 72 right inside of him.
Yeah, it'll be 2 kind of guys who haven't been up towards the front. Will lead us back to green here. It's going to be the 72 Dehari. Maggio back to the stripe there, and a really good jump out of that bottom side. Maggio going to get cleared here by Jamie Wright here for P2. It's going to be the battle for the P2 spot there. Maggio trying to get back.
Oh, and look at that run from the 13 car. I think he took him 4 wide on the top of the racetrack. 13 Bats Pro Shop machine going to squeeze into that wall in between the 99 car. Flames out of the pipes. You see it already. Trying to lift and make sure he doesn't make any contact. The 51 car, though, is going to block that run from the 13.
Yeah, but there comes the 99 of Roland. He's got the newer tires, so I don't think he really cares about people going on the top. He's got the fresher tires. He's all the way back up to P4 already.
Really good run right now for the 99 car. Just trying to, you know, march forward. Make sure he keeps his car underneath him while doing so. 51 car struggling on those old tires on the inside of the racetrack. Already down a few spots. You see the speed difference right there alone, right, Christian? You know, it speaks for itself. And so for this 99 car, really just trying to carve his way through the field. And he's doing a pretty good job at it right now.
Ooh, really sideways for the 89 of right there. And yeah, I mean, this is what you kind of have to do, I feel like, when you have the fresher tires, right? You have to be aggressive to make the moves when you can. You see the 51, really a little bit of contact with the 99. 99 pinching down Maggio, so not really a whole lot of space for Maggio to move around to. But yeah, if you're this 99, you have to be aggressive to get up here, especially versus the drivers who you're trying to run away from, right? And it's kind of that cat and mouse, right? Be aggressive to try to get around, you know, the drivers with the old tires, but also you don't burn them up enough that, you know, the drivers who pitted with you can get you in the further end. Oh, the 60. Really loose in the back there. That's Budlimick. And he's going to drop
3
outside.
wide again.
Yeah,
see right there, 3 wide. Once again, way back. Oh, man, these guys are not sorting it out right now. It's going to have to be some lifting going on here to make sure everyone sorts through this corner. 3 wide off the corner, way out of shape there. The Smithfield machine of the 60 car. Right there, going to the bottom of the racetrack. He gathers it back up.
That's the second corner in a row that Nicholas has had an issue there. He's now outside the top 20. He started inside the top 15. So this huge, you know, heaves here on the start of this restart there. And once again, you have to think about the cold tires here. Hot, you know, it's kind of the, you know, the 2 things you don't want. A hot, slick track and cold, not gripped up tires, right? And you're starting to see some drivers start to slip and slide around here, trying to get those heat in the tires. But see further back here, you look at the Tarpley, he's recovered back up inside the top 9. You're starting to see some other drivers start to drive through the field. You look at Justin Raw, you look at the 21 of Bascom. They're up, you know, if you look at Raw, he's up 14 spots from where he started.
Yeah, up 14 spots. Really good.
Oh,
Way out of
wrecking
shape
in the
there,
back.
back in the pack. The 61 car is going to go around. And the Crispy M&M's machine of the 18 car also going to go around.
Gabe Cazzola, Duncan Fa. Looks like a driver up here. That's maybe the 24 of Micah Walls up in there. And yeah, wrecking further outside the top 20. Caution will wave here for the 3rd time.
I mean, that's how quickly it can happen, Christian. Just right off a corner exit there. And just had those pit stops, but as everyone continues to jostle around and try to find out where they're going to settle in with those fresher tires, it just creates for some chaos. But you see right there already, getting the dirty air from the 51, I believe, right in front of him. And then just trying to keep it in the middle of the racetrack.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it might have been a little bit of net code, maybe.
Yeah, that was definitely very strange to see. We'll go back and take a look. I mean, it just looked like he just kind of like... Go on. We'll see if we can go on board with Duncan here.
Oh.
We'll back it up here. Maybe he just got loose on his own. I'm not sure, but I think he just got loose and was just trying to save it. Yeah. I think he thought he had it straightened out, got back in the throttle, and it just snapped around again. Fortunately, it grabs the 18 of Gabe Cazzola back here. You see the 24 of Micah Walls. He's sitting here. A lot of damage there on that Cavs machine. New car for Micah, but you see a lot of scrapes on the left side. I don't think it's going to be enough to hurt that car, I don't think. Actually, it looks like maybe the right front broken off. I'm not sure. We'll see. Does he have a meatball? No, he doesn't. So, still in it for now, but our 3rd caution here already on lap 28.
Yeah, just pretty chaotic. These drivers just trying to make sure that they can, have these clean restarts and these, clean maneuvers through the field as the guys on the fresher tires trying to make it through the guys on the older tires who stayed out. But right now, at 28 laps complete, still haven't had that long green flag run that I talked about earlier, but nonetheless, a lot of these drivers just trying to make sure that they can maximize given the circumstances. And so, right under yellow once again, the 99 car still leads the pack.
Yeah, we missed this battle for the lead there, but 99 on these fresh tires got around the 72 of the Hari, and yeah, he's in a really good spot. Obviously, he's got AJ Hyder, who, depending on where he picks, right, might start behind him. So I think honestly, even though these guys are, I believe, Uprise teammates, maybe they will try to race with each other and get these two out in front. But obviously, it's hard to keep this track position away. So honestly, if I'm the 99, I think about maybe putting the 44 in a bad spot there. But you see now, yeah, they'll both jump to the top side there. And you'll probably see a countdown from this 99 and this 44 to get these two clear of some of this, some of these cars with the older tires. See if they can race it out here for the lead.
Yeah, I definitely think we'll see that, Christian. And we're already 2x2 getting ready to go green here. That 44 of AJ Hyder on that top lane behind the 99. Something to be strategic about is do you choose the opposite of what the 99 does going into turn 1 or after that first lap once you're up to speed? Or do you try to help him out, develop a gap between you and 3rd place? But I think both of those cars, for the most part, have had really good short-run speed. The 44 car of Hyder definitely had a little bit of difficulty following and staying in touch with the 99 on the restart, but he's made his way right behind him, so he's obviously been doing something right.
I mean, yeah, he's been able to at least keep in touch with the 99 there, which is, I guess, all you need to do. I mean, there's a lot of laps to run down Diego when the time comes here, but it'll be interesting to see if these guys can, work together to get out in front of these guys with the older tires here. But pace car, hard left down pit road one more time, and we'll get ready to go back green here, back in the United Reynolds restart zone to start lap number 30. Diego Roland, AJ Hyder, as they do get the countdown, they're going to easily clear that bottom side, and they're really aggressive on the bottom to try to get around. I think that was Trafari on the 9, driver through the 79. Remember, Trafari, one of those guys with the newer tires, trying to get around some of these older guys.
Yeah, Trafari definitely not going to be happy with that blocking on the front straightaway. Made 2 moves to try and, restrict his motion moving forward. You see his ability to just dive it down into the corner, middle of that sandwich with the 72 on the bottom. Now he's going to be side by side, though, fading up the racetrack quickly is a 9-car of Jafari.
Yeah, Jafari tried to make the pass there, middle 3, couldn't make it work as he's going to cut off the nose of the 72. I mean, he's got to be aggressive, I guess. If you need to get around, you got to do it now. You cannot afford to be messing around with these guys with the older tires. So you'll continue to see Jafari try to make the moves work. You'll see Shui up inside the top 5. Is Reckon in the back. Reckon further back there. That's the 89.
Oh, they save it. They save it.
Jamie Wright, what a save by the 89.
Unbelievable save. Mid-corner. You know, shades of... Actually, I don't even know if I can give an analogy that is equivalent to that. You see right there, the 25 car of Tarpley got into a mid-corner, a little bit of a wall ride. That's fine. The 89 car continues.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if he's got any damage on there. I don't see a whole lot, but still, I mean, what an incredible save to at least keep his race going, right? And he could have definitely just overcorrected, broke the tire off, and called it a night. But what a save by Jamie Wright to keep that thing going. He's going to lose quite a bit of track position, but I think he'd rather, lose track position and then lose an opportunity to get a good finish tonight. But we'll see him back there now in 13th. He saw some contact further up there. I believe that was from the 00 pushing the 45 of Andretti Robinson. One of those GTA 6 cars. They're all around each other right now. You see Andretti and Christopher, the two brothers, trying to battle that 3 wide here through turn 3.
Yeah, just really, really, really aggressive on that side drafting. You see him once again now. He'll tuck back in. 3 wide further on back. It's the 89 car again. They're going to sort it out on their own.
And Jamie's just falling back there.
It's still going to be almost 3 wide again.
I think Jamie's just trying to hold on here. I mean, the worst thing you want there with the cold tires is to heat up the rears, right? I mean, we've already seen a lot of drivers slipping and sliding already with good tires, yet less, potentially, spun out tires. So, Jamie, you just see him. He's dancing all over the place now, just trying to hold on here. And if I'm him, and if I'm, a teammate or a crew chief or someone just watching him, just telling me, you got to back it down, reset here, because if you continue just to race hard, you're going to continue to just upset the car more, and you're just going to, put yourself in a worse spot. You just kind of have to back it down, pull those tires back off, and just kind of get going. Because, he was in the top 10, right? Now he's all the way outside the top 20 back here in 24th.
Definitely not the start of the race that the 89 car wanted. But nonetheless, like you mentioned, Christian, it's all about making sure that you can, just have that reset. That mid-race reset is so important, because if you can acknowledge that you need to make a change in your driving style, then that's the first step. That's half the battle. Making that change is obviously a problem. As we see the Toyota Camry machine, not quite sure who that was, had to shape the 51 car.
And remember, something we haven't really talked about yet either is these guys are running 110% horsepower. So it's not the generic 1.5 mile package that we're used to seeing. So they did, put the extra 10% in that, the sim has allowed us to. And you're starting to see now that some of these drivers who aren't used to that extra power starting to struggle a little bit here. But some of these drivers who might have a little bit more discipline on the gas pedal starting to drive their way up through the field, right? Or some people that know that they have to baby it, continuing to keep the track position, because it takes just one bobble, one mistake, and you're going to lose a couple spots here, at least probably a second at a time, if depending on the bobble, right? So you're starting to see the drivers who have a feel for the car, have a feel for the setup already, starting to drive their way through the field. And obviously this is where that practice time comes in. And I know a lot of these drivers put a lot of practice into, these races, especially knowing that they're going to have a little bit more juice under the hood, right? And you're starting to see that practice start to pay off versus some drivers who just have come in hoping for the best.
You see right there, taken to the top of the racetrack. Christian, you mentioned it before the race started, but you're actually able to save a bit of tire on the top. Talk a little bit more about the strategies that you can use to try and have a little more tire later on in a run like this.
Yeah, I mean, you can save tire on the top, but you just have to do it properly. If you use it up there, like you see right there, the 76, you saw him yawn the rear end out. That's not how you save the tire, obviously. But But, you know, you see a kind of a 4-car blanket here. It just really depends on what you feel in the car, right? Like, you can come in there expecting to run the top because it's what you know the best, but, you know, sometimes the top isn't the best for tire saving. You know, sometimes you want to run the bottom and just paint the line and let the car kind of roll around the bottom. You'll see like what Diego's doing right now. Going down there, painting that white line, just letting it kind of roll around, and then kind of easing the car back into the throttle here, especially with the extra horsepower. It's all going to be about patience on corner exit to get that car rolling back over again. You see Diego continuing to roll this bottom side here. I think he had a little bit of a gap, so I think that's a good thing as well, right? And I think what Diego's doing right now is just managing a gap, managing the pace, right? He got a little far out and then kind of backed it off there, let everybody get back up to him. And now you see him starting to pull away just a little bit from the 44 of Hyder.
Yeah, and how about Justin Rott in that 76 car in 4th position, up 20 spots from starting. I mean, really, really good momentum here. You're right on board with the Chevrolet onboard camera. You know, definitely had a lot of positive momentum, but as well as Trifari right in front of him. You see him taking that alternative line to the car in front of him, just trying to, you know, take baby steps, make sure that he's moving in the right direction. And you see he's able to carry that momentum, but just not able to stay in touch on corner exit there.
Yeah, so I'm going to get up in the outside wall there. And then, like I said, this is the kind of the downside of running the top here, because as soon as you get it, you kind of have to gas it up to get it off. And then when you gas it up, right, you kind of burn up the tires, right? So it's that cat and mouse of like how hard are you going to, you know, charge into the corner to try to make something happen. But race for the battle for the lead here, AJ Hyder. A dive to the bottom side, going to do a kind of a slider that we've seen before here in the past. Going to take the race lead away from Diego. Diego, does he have an answer? It looks like he's going to look to the inside through 1 and 2.
And that was textbook. You know, he pulled out and he managed to get a little bit of side draft before taking that preferred line with the momentum that he had to the bottom of the racetrack. But you see AJ Hyder able to really roll that top. Wow, what a slingshot effect off of the exit. Going to have some lap traffic to worry about here in just a little bit. But you see, ooh, the 99 really driving it down into the corner. He's going to try to pack some air on that rear.
And trying to pack the air on the rear end of the 44, try to get him a little air loose. Granted, I think he's trying to be a little bit cordial, these two teammates. He does not want to wreck that 44, especially for the lead here. Not even halfway through, but with them battling it out, here comes Trifari. He's going to use that higher lane, try to build some momentum through 1 and 2.
Yeah, the 99 is really, really strong. Mid-corner, center off. You see it right there, just peeking, trying to make sure that he can really just dive it down in the corner there. Not going to be able to clear here, I don't think, as long as the 44 doesn't make a mistake. But yeah, I agree, Christian. That just allows Trifari to have more and more options. Ooh, you see right there, out of shape. That's going to allow the 99 to clear.
And Trifari up in that outside wall there. That's going to eliminate any run he had there out of 4. So Hyder back to the top, rolling, kind of, you know, half a lane down. Trying to find something there. As you see, oh, he's super loose out of 2. Hyder's going to do a slingshot off the top side there. He's going to retake the race lead.
Oh, man, that was textbook. He just ripped that wall and was able to keep his foot in it and rip around the outside of the 99 car. You see now the Trifari going to try to capitalize on the hot tires from the 99 and try to gather it up on corner exit. Ooh, he'll elect to push him and help him out down the front straightaway. Try to get that preferred line, though, as he dives to the top.
Yeah, I think Trifari's trying to be patient with these two right now. I think he has a plan of action of like how hard he wants to push this car, and I don't think he just wants to push. They tried to get around Diego on that top side. You see him. He's going to look to the bottom here, side by side for P2, going into 3 and 4. That 99 really pinching down. Trifari, though, trying to make this pass hard on him, and I don't think Trifari's going to be able to make the pass work here on 3 and 4. He's going to get back in line.
Yeah, just not enough there for the 9 car. Trying to make something happen here. But every run and every stab, every punch that you throw, you know, that just takes life off of your tires. And last thing you want is to get out of shape and then really put yourself in a hole. But he's going to go 3 wide with a lap car there. Dive to the inside of the 99. I believe he will clear here. Really, really dive bombed it with a little bit of a slider. And now he sets his sights on the front spot of AJ Hyder.
Yeah, I think you saw Trifari was being a little bit more passive with the when he tried to pass the 99 earlier, and the 99 was just pinching him down, holding him back. And I think Trifari said, okay, like if I'm gonna I'm gonna have to, you know, do something different to try to get around him. You saw a huge slide job out of the 9 to get around Roland, and now he's gonna set his sights on AJ Hyder, but still the 99 not going away there. Looking to the inside of Jafari. Oh wow, the 99 got loose trying to put his nose down there. I mean, these two battling out. You see Hyder even having some issues on exit there. No one, it looks like just no one's car driving the way they want to right now.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Justin Rott in that 4th place spot. Got a little bit of the wall on turn 4 last lap. But as these guys are running side by side, you know, throwing slide jobs, you know, getting each other out of shape, using up their tire, the 76 is on the move.
Yeah, I'm just really impressed with the 76 right now. You know, like you said before, Matthew, up 20 spots. Kind of minding his own P's and Q's right now. He's still within touch of the leaders. Has a sizable gap back to P5. Trying to do what he needs to, you know, at least keep pace there. But I feel like he's doing a little bit of a better job keeping his car underneath him. I just hope that he's not overusing that top side and overdriving the corners to try to keep up, right? Because that's the worst thing you can do is not only are you not fast enough to keep up with the leaders, but you're overdriving the car to try to give yourself an opportunity to stay in touch. So, and now it looks like you see him back down to the bottom, trying to make something work here. But now you start to see in kind of this 4-car blanket start to kind of separate out a little bit of a gap between all 4 of these front 4 drivers.
Yeah, and just getting settled in for that long run, right? Just surpassed 50 laps of this event. Going to be a long grind moving forward here. Not to say that these guys can't stay in touch, right? But definitely from 4th on back, there's a big deficit you see right there. Barely out of the camera shot is 5th place on back. But this is a good opportunity for those guys who did save and those guys who did take an opportunity to make sure they had a little something for everyone during a green flag run. You know, no cautions permitting, but as we continue to run green here, there's definitely a pretty big difference between this first group and then the second group that we're following along with right now, led by the 79 car.
79 getting some pressure from Andretti Robinson in this 45 machine for this P5 spot. You're just seeing once again the dynamics of Homestead, the 45 all the way to the bottom, but you see the 79 all the way up the track, right? Trying to just build momentum, trying to make something happen, and we just continue to see some battles throughout the field here. We saw James Bomar. He's driven his way up to the field there, and that EPI machine just got around to 31, trying to make a move on the 25. You see him out of shape there, out of turn 4.
Way out of shape. Big time loose. It's going to allow the 31 car jump to the inside there. Ollie Reeves easily going to clear, I think. He's able to keep his foot in it on the bottom of the racetrack. Get some good little battles here further on in the backside of the top 10. But let's not forget about Jafari now in 2nd place. You know, he's 2/10 off, right? He's going to try to work his way further towards the front here. You know, I think he definitely has a good car right now.
I definitely think he's got a car to win tonight, but for me, it's like AJ, he's got the clean air. He's got everything else. How hard is Connors pushing to try to at least get to the 44 here? And when will those tires fall off? You see the 99, right? He pushed to try to get around and battle the 44. 44 got, you know, the advantage here, and he started to lose a little bit of time comparatively to what he was, right? And now Jafari, you know, granted, he's running a different lane there than the 44, trying to keep the clean air on his nose, but obviously, AJ Hyder, he's setting the pace. He's setting the tone, right? He's running the line he wants to, and it's kind of forcing Connor to run the line that really the 44 isn't. They continue to try to put the clean air on that 9 machine. And, you know, ooh, AJ really out of shape there, out of turn 2. But Jafari, not the best corner either. You know, he's not able to really capitalize there.
Big time loose. I mean, that was pretty crazy. I mean, we'll give the 9 the benefit of the doubt and say that he was being a little bit conservative on that corner, trying to save some tire, but tire advantage definitely not going the way of AJ Hyder. He's going to heat up those tires, keeping the car underneath him, keeping it going straight, but as we say that, the 99 car rolled on just on the top of the racetrack.
Well, and you think about, right, is AJ pushing as hard as he can to at least stay in front, right? Is Jafari just that much better? Is Roldan? Maybe did he, you know, go back and try to save a little bit? And is Hyder just giving everything he's got, right, to keep the race lead here? It's not really Hyder managing the race or setting the pace. It's Jafari, and it's Roland who have, you know, continued that. Now, even Roland has started to, you know, regain some touch here to the race lead here. Maybe is it, you know, Hyder who's just trying to push everything he's got. Remember, you talked about the extended horsepower. If anybody's going to have the best cornering and everything else, it's going to be the 44. But when we've seen everybody be loose here, maybe, you know, you do want, you know, the front tires to be a little bit out of whack here, a little bit worse to help, you know, manage, you know, the looseness with the extra horsepower.
You see right there, Trifari diving to the inside. Gonna try to take advantage right now. Changing up the entry pattern on the 44 of AJ Hyder. Ooh, gonna try to be side by side. Wow, big time loose for the 44 of Hyder. They're gonna be side by side going into turn 3.
Connor Trifari to the bottom. Gonna paint that white line. You see him actually take a little bit too much of it. But once again, Hyder ripping the top side. I thought maybe Trifari was going to get it. No, Hyder on the top side, still defending hard. He's going to take the lead. He's going to maintain the race lead here. But here comes Trifari hard on the bottom.
Oh, and I love what Trifari did there. He got back in line to make sure he had that preferred lane of entry and then dove it down to the bottom. You never want to just, you know, roll over and be complacent with your corner entry, because that can completely mess up basically half a lap and force you to, you know, regather and regroup for another lap or more. So Trifari still trying to pick up the pieces, obviously, but I think he did himself a favor staying in touch.
Oh, the 99!
Oh, big time loose!
Wow, I thought he was gone right there. What a save by Diego! And I mean, you could tell right now. At least so stopped there. They're giving it all they have. I mean, Diego's a very, very talented driver, and for him to, you know, lose it like that, I mean, that just tells me these guys are pushing 110%, right? So he's gonna have a handful now and his work cut out with him with Rod all over his back end. But back up to the race for the lead. You know, Trifari, he showed me, and this is already showing that the tires are starting to wear out a lot here. I think it's rules reversed here. I think the 44 might have burned up the rears, but you saw Trifari here in the 1 and 2 laps ago try to put this slider on and couldn't make the pass work, right? He had to drive up the track here. He's going to try it here. Going to jump up in front of the 44. Not clear.
Wow, side by side now down the backstretch. They're going to give each other a little bit of room out of respect. But the side draft, I think, advantage going to go to the 9 here if he can get it down into the corner. But that 44 still ripping that top side.
I think the bottom's better in 1 and 2 if you're going to do that slider. But, oh, AJ once again out of control out of 4 there. That's going to still keep these guys side by side. The racing is incredible here for the race lead.
Oh, man, yeah, this is just great. High horsepower percentage in a slick track. Cars that are difficult to handle in the dirty air. The 9 car now going to get the advantage off of turn 2.
Yeah, I think it was inevitable that 44 was going to have to give it up here sooner or later. We just saw how much he was fighting it off corner exit. Really, all Trifari had to do was really pull one of those classic sliders and not really wreck himself out of corner exit, and he was going to get the race lead, because you still see out of the rear view mirror here the Chris Lee Designs onboard. AJ is just having a really hard time on exit there on both ends of the track.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see the rear end and the front end twitch as it tries to catch the car. Wants to come around. It wants to slip out from underneath his control, but you just have to be able to modulate that brake pedal and that gas pedal and that steering wheel. You see the flames out of the pipes. Really trying to make sure he's nursing this car right now, because with 63 laps complete, last thing you want is to take yourself out right before that halfway point. So really good spot for AJ to just kind of regroup and say, hey, you know, I've been doing something right this whole time if I've been able to, you know, be in touch, be in the lead, and, you know, inevitably, you know, gave it up right now, got a little bit out of shape. That's okay. Riding out in second place, got a gap to third. That's completely fine.
Looking at some battles further back here. 52, Austin Doran. We haven't really heard a lot from him, but going to be someone who I expected to drive up through the field. He's slowly doing it right now, up 12 spots. He's going to try to make the pass here on the 25 here for 10th place. And, yeah, we're getting to that point now. 46 laps on most of these drivers' stint here. I mean, we're getting to the point now that we're going to have to maybe start talking about pit stops here potentially here in the next 15-odd laps. So, you know, we're almost, actually probably just around halfway here So, I mean, I believe that really any time now in the next 10, 15 laps, we'll see some drivers coming down pit road. Got to split this race kind of in half-ish.
Yeah, and hearing green flag pit stops from you, Christian, you know, that makes my ears perk up as we see maybe a little bit of contact there with the 52. Not so sure that the 25 didn't get into him. And that rear end get him a little bit out of shape. But yeah, just talking about pit stops, you know, that really switches up the strategy, because that guy that's able to get down pit road the quickest and get off the quickest, especially at a track like this where, you know, you can be really aggressive on the entry to pit road and make up some time. You know, which you remember way back when Kyle Larson was coming down the pit road entry, you know, super fast, you know, clip that pit in sand barrel and had to suffer from some damage. Yeah, just from trying to get on the pit road during a green flag stop. And so definitely some potential for some chaos here and some shaking up of the order, but I would love to see nothing more than, yeah, a good green flag cycle, honestly.
No, I agree. You see a battle for 15th here. Chris slowly trying to get around the 21 of Bascom here.
Oh, Wyatt Roberts.
Wyatt Roberts further back. Really having troubles there. Almost gone to the one of Lorenzo. And speaking of Lorenzo, we saw a YouTube chat here. Best paint scheme of the night here, in their opinion. This purple and yellow and white. #1 machine. And it's definitely a classy looking car. Very nice looking paint scheme. You know, I kept confusing it for an LSU scheme, but University of Albany car. So you see Brian right there further back here, 17th, trying to take advantage of this side-by-side battle between Chris Lilly and Bascom here in that 21 machine.
That's an awesome paint scheme, I gotta be honest. And you're just seeing right there the low of 35th. You know, when you're down in the dumps like that, Christian, you know, like we see 3 wide right now on the bottom of the racetrack is that one car. You know, being down in the dumps, you know, it's really easy to let that go to your head and, you know, really just, you know, be lost in thought and be wondering, like, man, like, what am I doing here? What am I doing with my evening? You know, I could be out, you know, having some dinner. I could be relaxing, watching some TV, but, you know, here I am in the sim running like dead last, right? But for someone to, you know, dig themselves out of that hole and, you know, still just have that ambition and that motivation to keep going, it's just awesome to see. And I love following along with those stories throughout these races that we cover.
Oh, I definitely agree. I mean, it's definitely, you know, kind of poetic to see some of these drivers who we know have the pace, just didn't have the best starter, maybe got caught up in a wreck, be able to drive their way up into, you know, the top 15, the top 20 here. Obviously, we had 36 cars show up tonight, so it's not an easy feat to drive up there. You look at the 72 here. He is one of those drivers who just came down pit road. So we talked about green flag pit stops. The 72 came down. It looks like it's going to be at the mark here 6 laps ago. So, I mean, you're looking at almost 50 lap fresher tires here in the 72, and you're seeing him carve through the field here on lap 71.
Yeah, and obviously going to be interesting to see how he filters out with the rest of these cars, but starting that strategy of the pitting during the green flag, I mean, it seems like he's making some pretty good time there as he works to the, in between the sandwich of Budimic and the 52 car on his top side. He is moving through the field right now, but yeah, I mean, that crossover point is definitely interesting because, you know, you on paper, you know, there's only so much that you can say about, you know, the advantage that comes about with pitting earlier or pitting later, depending on your lap times and, you know, how that changes based on the fresh rubber that you're going to be putting on. You see he's going to get a little bit of some aero blocking there, but he's going to be able to work to the inside of that race car down the back straightaway. But yeah, I think for the 72 machine, you know, definitely one to look out for here as we continue to follow along with the pit cycle.
Yeah, the issue is, I don't know. I mean, he's going to have to go a long ways on those tires if he's going to one-stop it. So I'm getting around Bomar. You see him getting around now. That is a lap car, the 24. Micah Wallace, he's 3 laps down. Unfortunate for Micah. I mean, I feel like these 1.5 miles are probably his best strong suit, but obviously got caught up in that lap. Second wreck there is you see someone loose in the back there. That's a Jody Robinson. As he's going to go for a spin. Caution will wave.
Wow.
And there's some of these drivers who do not want to see that. We were looking at Gabe, the Harley there. He's going to be trapped a lap down. Well, he'll get the wave, but he's going to, that's the worst thing that could happen.
You're going to lose a pit stop.
Yeah. So caution will wave here. We saw the You just saw it live there. We caught it on camera. The 45 of Andretti Robinson getting loose at it too. So caution will wave here. And we'll get ready to get some green flag pit stops underway. But just about halfway, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we'll do the rundown of the race off pit road here right after this quick commercial break here. We'll be right back here on the other side of this ad break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We welcome you back here for to the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. Lap number 75 here as we just approached just past halfway here in tonight's race. Caution out here for the 6th time, I believe, here. We just got done with pit stops here. A little bit of a shakeup here. So it's going to be Connor Trifari who wins the race off pit road. Obviously, we saw him take the race lead away from AJ Hyder. But you look back here, Ollie Reeves, he jump starts his way up inside the top 3 of these guys who took tires and stuff. And you look at some further drivers up here who made up some spots. Matthew O'Brien, James Bomar, and now the 79 of Joquan Stewart, my apologies. So a little bit of a stack up here in this top 5.
Yeah, and I think the biggest mix-up here is that of Malachi Drake in the 90 car up 23 spots. Really good run for him inside of this top 10 with some potential to continue moving forward. I haven't talked about him tonight, I don't believe, in that Chevy Camaro. But yeah, talking about the restarts, Christian, these are so important to just, find people that you work well with around you because, track position, right? A few spots on the restart that, you get by and you advance on, that can be the difference between, having to save tire or, being able to use tire and have some more freedom later on in the run. So I think the implications are a lot bigger than we think right now, but we are going to be going green with 77 laps complete. Over halfway complete, as you mentioned, Christian. So going to be a lot to look forward to here in this later half of the event.
And back in the United Reynolds restart zone, it's going to be Connor Trifari, AJ Hyder. 1-2, back to green here from Homestead.
Oh, you see a big block there on the bottom of the racetrack to the 99 Mobile 1 machine. Not going to be happy with that one. But you see right there the 79 car. Put that big block. Oh, man, yeah, that was really tight on corner exit.
And that's going to force that 99 still to the bottom side. I think he wanted to get up in front of the 12 of Robinson there. Not clear, though. You see the 52 of Doran up to the top here. He's going to try to make this top side work. 3 wide out of turn 4.
Wow, yeah, that's going to be really tight off corner exit. They managed to hang on to it for now. Oh, and some contact further back in the pack. Someone's going to be going around on the front stretch.
Oh, man.
Oh!
I think everybody's saving it,
close.
though.
Yeah, that was, oh, man, that was almost really bad. 21 Sunoco machine going to save it. You see right there, some contact on the right front.
Take a look and see what happened here further back. So that was the 21. So there was 2 separate wrecks here. So Amir gets loose out of 4 here. Maybe a little bit of contact with someone. Yeah, contact with that driver on his right side. He goes around here. And then Cody Ramirez, I believe, I looked like he just got ran over. Or maybe I'm not sure what happened here. Yeah, it looks like he kind of hooked himself off the 24's bumper there. So 2 separate incidents, but we stay, straight here. We stay green, but I was going to show the battle for the lead there as that happened. AJ Hyder muscled his way around the 9 at Trafari. He takes the race lead once again. He's starting to pull away once again here from Homestead.
Yeah, the bigger loser here is the 99 car, still not able to get in line. Way back in the pack in 8th place. Yeah, got to commend those drivers for saving it on that restart. Making sure that they didn't take out any of their competitors or bring out a caution. Slow us all down once more. But, you see right now, the 99 still not able to get up to the top of the racetrack. He's just going to be burning up tire and, taking chunks out of his time. But right now, yeah, you see right there, just can't dive it in there to the inside of the 51. He's going to wash up, get that aero wash, lose the downforce on the front of the race car. Try to get some side trash, try to muster something up. Now he rides in line. We'll decide to try and find out a way to work up in front of these guys right now.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought he had the move made there on the 12 and then the 52 of Doran right there. Kind of just gave him that dirty air, and it kind of just forced him to lift. I allowed the 12 to just continue to roll the top and continue to make that battle work here, but Doran up here inside this top 6, going to try to run down James Bomar, who's made his way up back inside the top 5. This is where he qualified, but remember, I mean, he had to drive his way back up here. He was up at, in the teens throughout the race.
Man, leaning on, I think, the 99 right there. They're going to be maybe 3 wide on corner exit, really tight off turn 2. Wow, I'm surprised that they managed to work that out. But you see the 99 car just being buried back here with traffic. It just goes to show, a fast car in clean air, as we see someone getting into the outside wall there in turn 3. A fast car in clean air, is not indicative of how they are in traffic. And, just not being able to navigate and, like I said, take advantage of being able to make up track position is going to allow AJ Hyder, which I think is the only other one that was on level with that 99, to just pull away right now.
Exactly. I mean, it's not only is it indicative of what it would drive like in clean air, but also it's just with the way the next gen is, regardless if you have a good car, right, it's really hard to pass. You can have a really good car, and if you just don't really know how to set up the passes, it's hard to make the moves work, right? So I mean, you see him still mired right there in that same spot. He hasn't lost any spots, but he also hasn't gained any. He's still back there in P8. Gonna have to try to once again sit down, try to figure something out here in that Mobile 1 machine. Trying to muscle his way around Christopher Robinson in the 12, but Christopher's done a really good job riding that top side. And he's actually starting to pull away from the 99 a little bit.
Yeah, that 99, 2.7 seconds back, just about. Diving to the bottom and wrapping that white line. Just doesn't look like he's too comfortable with where his car's at right now. Going to be facing some pressure from the 79 car. Stewart right behind him, I believe. Yeah, just trying to make sure he can muster up a good second half of this event as we prefaced going green here.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to feel bad, right? Because he had he was up right inside the top 3. Had a good stop for himself. I don't really know what happened on those pit stops, but right there you see him, Eric Griffin, the 79 there, forcing him to back out of it. But I'm not sure what happened in the 99 during the green flag pit stops, but definitely lost that track position that he had. And obviously track position means a lot here in this new next-gen car. I mean, it's hard to make passes. It's hard to gain time. So as soon as you lose that track position, it makes your night so much harder unless you really do have a good car and you have a good feel for what you need to do to drive your way up to the field. You see most of the drivers, starting to get single file. You see a battle here now. And 79 looking underneath the 99, and the 99 really pinching to try to keep the spot there, and he will. And then Roland will still hold on to P8.
That was honestly really, really impressive out of the 99 car to do that. Pinch him down to the bottom of the racetrack, force him to get out of the gas and not get wrecked in the process. Because at that point, you're really at the disposal of whoever's in the inside of you. So, some pretty decent racing there. You take a look further in the front of the pack, just 6/10 off the pace. Matthew J. O'Brien, up 3 from starting position. He's in that 43 Advent Health machine. I haven't talked about him too much. You see right there, just 2/10 off from the leader. Trying to work his way up, and this is unfamiliar territory, like I said, for this race so far for this 43 car. Just hasn't been up towards the front of the pack, but now finds himself in 3rd place, riding in line, trying to see if he can make a move on Trafari, if he's able to gathering up pace to get up to his rear bumper maybe.
And we talked about this as well, you know, with the 99, right? The 43 was mired back there in the pack. He's got the clean air, and he's been able to at least stay kind of within range of Hyder and Trafari, you know, I would say, our two best cars tonight. So, obviously, O'Brien, I'm listening to his inputs here. You see him smooth with the, you can just hear it in his inputs. So really smooth. You don't hear him using up the rear end. You hear him just trying to just be smooth in, smooth out. And that's exactly how you save the tires here. I've seen this happen with O'Brien before, right? And be very, very cordial with the car, trying to make sure he can, you know, keep the tires underneath them, and then try to make a charge later in the run. And then someone, you know, also who's really good at that is this 31 of Ollie Reeves. He's made his way up inside the top 4, 3 spots better from where he started back there in P7. Just a little bit off these front 3, but still in a good spot.
Yeah, I think this is really where you see the cream rise to the top in the sim, Christian, because this is where, in that green flag run, you know, you start to see the people who are saving and who have taken care of that race car and made the most out of their day really just come to the top. And you see right there, low of 21st, high of 3rd, started 7th and currently 4th. Just overall, you know, a really good rebound from that low point. And so for Ollie Reeves, you know, I remember he was maybe one of the ones that got in the wall or got a little bit out of shape earlier in the event. Right now, just trying to muster up what could be a pretty good finish here as we eclipse 91 laps in this event.
Yeah, and the 43 starting to run down this 9 machine of Trafari. So, talked about Matthew potentially doing a little bit of better job with this car. And maybe that's starting to show the payoff right now here. We ran just over 15 laps here. We're going to be going to 17 laps on this stint. This is where you're going to start to see the tires start to show their age and show their health, if you want to say it right. Whoever saved their stuff better, it's going to start to show up now here with 15 laps under the books here. Take another look here at our race weather, and still hot, slick track there. It's went down by 1 degree, but still nice and hot and slick. Not for us up in the booth, it's, you know, nice and hot, but for these drivers, still having to muscle this thing around.
Yeah, and that 9 car just a lap ago, right here on corner exit, that rear end started to step out, maybe barely tapping that wall. 43 is going to have to elect to stay in line there, but it seemed like when the 43 was running up on that 9 car, maybe packed a little bit of air on corner exit, got that rear end to just jump out a tad. But I'm thinking that Trafari might be towards the end of his life when it comes to tires and being able to keep it underneath them without getting out of shape.
Yeah, I'm once again interested in seeing what AJ is doing here in your race lead. Remember, he kind of did the same thing that first run. Jumped out and got a pretty decent gap to the rest of the field there, and then everybody kind of ran him back down because he used up his stuff. Did he learn from that first stint? You know, when we had that 40, 50 lap run there, and is now going to save just a little bit more than what he thought he needed to that first run. They continue to try to race, you know, keep the race lead underneath them, because right now you start to see Trafari. He's starting to lose a little bit of touch to the 44 and starting to get ran down by the 43. You see once again the 31 kind of in the frame of this battle now, as he started to catch up there, as he's jumped up to the top side.
Oh, and you see that 43 still trying to fight with that aero blocking from the 9 car Trafari. I think right now Trafari is kind of saying, hey, you know, I'm trying to stay in touch with this leader here, but the more and more the 43 puts pressure on me, the more and more I feel inclined to change up my line and try to block him rather than play the offense and try to go chase the leader. But such is the nature of next-gen racing at this kind of a track as big as Homestead. We see going around those lap cars, that just goes to show how long they've been green flag racing for. And right now, Trafari getting a little bit of a gap between him and the 43 car. So right now, this top 4 just really staying in touch with one another, but not really showing any race pace or speed for the time being to, you know, be able to jump step anybody right now. But you know, think of a guy like James Bomar in 5th place. What does he have as we come up on almost 34 laps to go as we get towards that 100 lap mark? But right now, you see right there already the 43 of O'Brien able to work back towards the 9 car.
You see the left side of your scoring pylon. The last lap times here. See AJ, 88.0, 86. So starting to run him down, but you see O'Brien, remember, with the aero blocking, had to give up a little bit of time there, but already back up the rear end of this number 9 machine. You look at Reeves back there. All in the 8s. Really, everybody's still in the 8s outside of the 12 of Robinson there, who's in the 34s now. And you see Doran in the 43s, in the 34s, my apologies. But, yeah, still AJ Hyder slowly, still a little bit quicker than the rest of the field as we speak.
Yeah, actually really impressive out of AJ Hyder to have that consistency and that, pretty much prowess when it comes to putting down the lap times at this point in the event. Really just goes to show why he's currently in the lead where he's at. You see him just, way further out there than these 3 cars right behind him, second, third, and fourth running. So whether these guys choose to work together with one another and try to go catch that leader, or someone says, hey, you know what, I think I can go and give him a run for his money. We see that 99 car of Roldan, though, way back in 8th. Definitely, like I said earlier, a bigger loser when it comes to that restart most recently and trying to work his way up through the pack.
I mean, he still has not been able to get around the 12 here. This is the same battle you looked at, 20 laps ago, right? So, just the 99 has not been able to find the pace here. And granted, I know he was running the top most of that first run. Obviously, he's been forced to run the bottom, and you start to see that either the car does not like the bottom or he does not feel comfortable running the bottom and getting pace out of the car in the bottom, because he still has not been able to maneuver around the 12 machine of Robinson. Obviously, Christopher is entitled to run whatever lane he wants, and right now it's, keeping him ahead of this 99 and the 60 and the 68 of Schumacher. They're further back here, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough to see this 99 not been able to drive his way back up through the front here. But further back here, something I want to say is, once again, Shafari still has not been able to catch him up, and I think I wouldn't say he's holding up the 43, but I think that if the 43 had the opportunity to, I think he could maybe, catch your leader a little bit. But right now it looks like he might have used his stuff up trying to get around Shafari there for P2.
Yeah, I think so, Christian, but you never know, because that 9 car could also just be saving a little bit and trying to wait for that late run and that lunge towards the front. But I think that 43 car kind of lost some of their steam and a little bit of a pep in their step, because that 43 was really hounding the 9 car a few times, but for every time he made that lunge, that's less tire life, that's less opportunities to pass. So 9 car currently is sitting pretty decently in second.
I'll look at some of your biggest movers in tonight's field. Look further back here. Austin Doran up 16 spots. A really good recovery for him. He tries to race down James Baumar. We look further back here. Right inside the top 10. That's the 60. Nicholas Budlimic. He's up 19 spots more. He started. And you see now the 99 finally got around the 12 there in the 4 shot. But you see the 60 trying to run down the 12, and that 99 you see further back as well. Up 18 spots. Malachi Drake. Matthew, you talked about him a little bit earlier before we went green. Now he's up to 18 spots, and then Brian Lorenzo, he's back there plus 19 spots. As we see what's going on here with the sim. Obviously, sim has not been kind to us here, so figure out what's going on here. We'll go ahead and pull up your thumbnail once again. We apologize, everybody, but we can do a little bit of work here. Might have to turn off replay spooling here in the replay. That might be the only thing that's holding us back here. I think we might have to restart the sim real quick, chat, to make sure that the replay spooling is turned off. So we're gonna go ahead and do that real quick. We're gonna take a
Racing.
We're gonna go ahead and take a quick commercial break to get this done, and we'll be right back for probably the last 20 laps here of Green Flag Racing. We apologize, but we'll be right back here once we get in the sim.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. iRace or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We welcome everybody back here. 28 laps to go here from Homestead Miami Speedway. AJ Hyder continuing to lead the way here, and just over a second gap here to P2 Connor Trifari. And we talked about it. Tire wear. Starting to show its effects here. You see further back here, the 99 of Diego Roland. Trying to get around the 52 of Austin Doran. Trying to make something happen. But you look up further to AJ Hyder, as you see the 44 machine trying to pull away here from the rest of the field.
You see right there. AJ Hyder trying to stretch it out to his second gap. Really comfortable from that first place position at the helm of the field. And right now just trying to make sure that he can make maneuvers between those lap cars that he'll be coming up on pretty quickly here. As we've had a very long green flag run, but nonetheless, green flag runs that come with stretching the gap can also come with a lot of ill-handling race cars for the entirety of the field. So not quite sure we've seen the end of this one yet.
Ollie Reeves back there in P4, but O'Brien thought was, oh wow, was Bomar having a huge off there. I was about to say, Bomar was, I thought he was having a battle here, but it looks like he's going to battle with the 99 here of O'Brien as he's started to drive his way up through the field. And Bomar actually starting to fall back, I think, because he before we went to that commercial break, he was in P5, back to P7. So Austin Doran, Diego Roland, maybe found a little bit more pace here on the long run than that 20 machine of James Bomar. Still Bomar in the top 10. Gonna be a solid finish if he sits back there. Obviously, not the best Daytona speed weeks, but obviously a good footing as you see him a little bit sideways out of 4.
Yeah, and obviously, like I mentioned, Christian, ill-handling race cars, problematic, handling, tempers may be flaring at this point. You've been in the car for a few hours now at this point, including practice and qualifying as well. So these drivers are, kind of at their wits' edge, and so wits' end rather. And so trying to just make sense of all that right now is James Bomar in that 20 car on top of the racetrack.
And Bomar having a good race for himself, but AJ Hyder continuing to pull away. It looks like a little bit of a battle here for P2 as Reeves has come out of nowhere. He's driven up the P3, looking at P2 from Connor Trifari.
Oh, yeah, he definitely had something saved up there. Either that or Trifari was way out of shape because he just blew by him right there. I would love to see Reeves try to take the fight to the front here now with all that positive momentum. Just got to make sure that he catches the 44 if he does in a timely manner, because as these laps click down, the advantage that he might have been saving up with those tires is definitely going to go away. And you can see right there, just out of the camera shot, is that 44 of AJ Hyder. But I'm thinking about these guys in the top 5, who is in contention at this point. I feel like the 43 would have had to make a move on Trifari by now to be able to be in contention. Trifari himself has had pretty much a pretty consistent fall off that we've monitored throughout the entirety of this last run. But then you look at Reeves, and he's one of those guys, like you mentioned, Christian, just kind of came out of nowhere. So a possible threat for this win.
Yeah, we'll have to see, if he did save anything. And if he did, does he have anything left in the tank to go run down that 44? His caution! There
it is.
Fidel Fabian. A round out of 4 here. So caution will wave with just over 20 to go here. And we'll be going back to green here with under 20 to go. Fidel Fabian and this Casita Caliente machine around here. We'll take a look and see what happened.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it wasn't that out of shape nature of this long run that I mentioned. You see bottom of the racetrack, sliding up. No, he's actually quite fine. You see right there, the rear end just steps out. That's how quickly it can happen. And he wasn't able to gather it back up. He pulls it down to the wall, makes some contact, keeps it out of the racing line, luckily, and out of harm's way. But that's just how quickly that this can all happen. And now this really changes everything.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Everybody will come down pit road. 39 laps on since they've last come down pit road. So AJ Hyder, you see Ollie Reeves. Honestly, Ollie, I don't know if Ollie wanted to see this caution. I think he probably had something left in the tank here to go run down your race later. Now everybody's going to be back to square one. And honestly, on the short run, I don't think anybody can beat this 44. I think the only way he's faltered this whole race is he did, at least on that first run, and you saw a little bit right here before that caution came out. Some drivers were starting to run him down, but now with 20 to go, there's not really going to be a whole lot of saving left.
Yeah, but I also think that this is a good opportunity for all those other drivers to maybe get some track position here. Ooh, you see Ollie really strong off of pit lane. Trafari as well, the 43 car, going to make up a position there. He's going to be 4th on the restart, and everyone else behind him.
See the race off pit road there, but it's going to be Ida Reeves going to be your front row here. No one stays out. Obviously, I don't think anybody had the ability to stay out here even if they wanted to. So it's going to be AJ Hyder, Ollie Reeves, Connor Trafari, Matthew O'Brien, your fast 4. We get ready to go back green here, under 20 to go.
Yeah, with 20 to go, Christian, you know, that's not too little of time to, you know, think that you can just throw it all out there and, you know, go balls to the wall and, you know, use up your car, use up your tires, and just get the lead. You know, you need to be smart about this, because not only is there the threat of there being more cautions and having to slow it back down, you want to make sure you have enough car underneath you to remain throughout the rest of this event, but you also want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for the best in the long term, and that could mean, you know, being a little more reserved on a restart like this, but still trying to figure out, you know, how you can maximize that short run with the track position, and then kind of, you know, bear down and say, hey, okay, I need to make sure that I'm, you know, saving my stuff and doing what I need to do to get towards the front. But, you know, I'm not so sure that, you know, Trafari isn't, you know, going to be able to, you know, jump step this 44 here and really take advantage here, because he was struggling on that long run. So I'm thinking that he used up a bit more of his stuff on that short run. But with it was going to be 18 to go actually. I'm really not sure who's going to be able to pull through here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've seen the 9 have some issues on the long run. If I'm the 9, you just have to be aggressive here, knowing that you're going to probably not be better than on the long run, to try to take the race lead away, try to do everything you can to keep the race lead here in these last 18 laps, right? We saw throughout the whole race tonight, when you got around that 15-ish lap mark, the tires started to show their age. So we're just over that lap mark. It's going to show. You can't really just go full on right now. It's going to be about, you know, who can save just that little bit more. But it's going to be AJ Hyder, Connor Trafari back in the restart zone, back green here for 18 laps to go from Homestead.
Oh, not a good start for the top, but somehow AJ gets through. That's going to allow the 9 car, though, to get a good run here with that preferred line. And then the 99 car, how about it? Making his way back towards the front.
Yeah, Diego looking on the bottom there. Remember, this is not his preferred line, though. So if he wants to make this pass work, you got to do something different. Yeah, I think that's what you need to do there. I think the 43 drove it into the corner, expecting the 99 to pull a slider on there. He doesn't. He you know, keeps it planted down there on the bottom. He takes P3 away, and he's back in the fight.
Wow, yeah, a really, really good drive up here on the restart from the 99 car. Just what he needed after the not the best, you know, ending stages of this event. Before that caution came out for the 99, getting buried way back, had a good pit stop, and now is finding himself in 3rd place.
O'Brien trying to hold off the 31 of Ollie Reeves. Ollie, you know, like I said, I don't know if he wanted that caution, because, you know, he came in P2. Now he's all the way back to P5 here in that number 31 machine. Going to need to do something different if he wants to get back up to the race for the lead there. You see the 12 of Robinson. He's up to P6. He was great, basically 8th to 10th all race. So you see him jumping up to the top side, trying to take advantage of this little bit of a shorter run and maybe gain some track position.
Yeah, those guys that are really able to rip it on the top lane on the short run, especially when you have the cold tires, you know, just with that confidence that you build throughout practice, qualifying, race, you know, short run, long run, you know, all these guys just really, really, you know, show up and show out when it matters most. And those are the guys that you're going to see throughout the entirety of the season, I think, at all the tracks, just be able to be versatile and diversify their skill set, you know, with these races and these kinds of racetracks that we find ourselves in.
And I saw some huge blocking further back here. I think it was Maggio who got a huge block put on him. I mean, this is where the aggressiveness here towards the, middle of the pack here. This is where it's going to start to pick up here because no one wants to finish outside really the top 10, I feel like, ideally here in SAAC. So you want to at least a top 10 finish here. And you look at Maggio, I feel like one of your faster drivers here in the field here. And he hasn't really cracked inside really anywhere tonight. We'll look at his stats here real quick. Yeah, look at this. Didn't even set a lap here, but was up in the P2 for that time being. Remember that. But has been just right here in this kind of top 15, top 10 range here. Currently back there in P13.
Yeah, Steven Maggio knows how to get it done. We've seen him win at this network. And just trying to make sense of this next-gen Homestead combination, obviously. Be able to have a good result to speak for it. But right now, there's still some jostling here in the top 10 spots further on back as well. So as we come to 13 to go, and another caution, this will once again change a lot. Oh, wow. 53 car almost getting some contact after the spin.
Chris Lilly goes around here out of turn 4, and we've seen turn 4 cause havoc throughout the whole night tonight. Go back on the chopper cam. Going into turn 3 and 4, you see the 18 and the 21 side by side into 21. Thought he was going to make some contact there. He does make contact. And around will go Chris. Will grab the 42 of Wyatt Roberts just a little bit there. Chris is trying to lock it down here, trying to get it out of harm's way. And just got a little. I don't think Basco meant to do that, but got a little bit of a bump from the back. Got a little bit of a bump from the 21, and around the 53 will go there. I wonder if Chris has extra tire set left, because I would not want to try to race around with those. I think you do see Chris coming down pit side here. We'll see if he takes some tires. I don't imagine seeing anybody else coming down unless you maybe outside the top 20 maybe. I would potentially see them coming out. I actually see him coming out of pit road. We'll see if we can find, where is the 53? Chris, no, just a drive through here. He didn't even come down and take anything. So that's why I was a little confused. Usually when we'd come back here, you'd see them in the pit stop. But no, he just quite literally drove through pit road. Decided not to take any service.
Yeah, just not the end of the event that he wanted here to have. And as we're going to be coming to probably 9 to go when we go green, this is an opportunity for Trafari or the 99 car to learn and say, hey, what do I need to do differently here, or what do I need to do the same of? Who do I want to be around? Who do I want to push, or who do I want to be pushed by to make this happen? Saw that disconnect on the top lane, but that didn't matter for AJ because he was able to get the jump nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, AJ did a really good job. I mean, I felt like everybody but AJ had a kind of subpar start. So, obviously, AJ picked the top there, and I just felt like they just had a bad time maybe reacting to AJ going in the restart zone. But I looked back at Trafari. I mean, AJ's been having such great starts that Trafari doesn't even have a chance here, on the restarts going into 1 and 2 to even get to him, right? When AJ gets the power down, he gets, 3, 4, 5 car lengths gap back, ahead of this 9 machine. If you're Trafari, you got to do something different to try to time the restart. Try to do something different to try to give yourself an opportunity here. Because I feel like if you can't, at least try to get side by side or within a car length here on these restarts, I don't think you're going to be able to get the AJ Hyder here in a 9-lap dash.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I quite honestly, I think that these guys are going to have to really just bear down here, and maybe if it calls for it, get a little dirty, use a guy up. We haven't seen a lot of contact towards the front of the field, honestly, because AJ's been able to pull out in front. But for these guys who haven't been able to be close to him, be in contention, that's what it takes, and you're gonna have to be able to have a conversation with yourself and decide if that's something that you're willing to take on.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to figure out what is the best move for you here with this 10-lap dash. Now going to be 9 laps to go here as we get ready to go green. But you'll see, actually, Connor Trafari, he picks the top side. This is what I talked about, doing something different, because he will probably get the better jump with the 44, right? And now allow, guess what? Diego Roland, he'll start on the top side here. It'll be rules reversed of what happened here on the start. So it's going to be the 44 on the top. Diego Roland pinching him all the way up there on the bottom side. as we get ready to go green here with a 9-lap dash here. It's going to be the 44 and the 99 back to the restart zone, back green from Homestead.
Oh, what a huge jump there. And the 99 car going to have to pull down to the inside. A problem for him, maybe a miss shift or a little bit of a DC there. That's going to allow Jafari once again to have that second place position as they fan out behind him.
Caution will wave once again. This time it's for the 21 of Bascombe. Mayor Bascombe around here on the restart. We'll take a look and see what happened here to this 20 being here on the replay. Started around here. Might see if he got some help. Yeah, I don't know. See the 89 at Jamie Wright make some contact as well. It just looked like he checked up a little bit further into the corner than than Wyatt expected him to. Wyatt just gets in the back of him, and yeah, I just don't think Wyatt expected him to be, you know, trying to slow down for the corner that early. And I don't really think that was done, you know, deliberately or anything. So, but caution will wave once again, and this will once again shorten the laps here for another restart. So we see the field catch the pace car one more time. It'll still be Hyder, Jafari, and Diego Roland somehow still keeps that P3 spot after having a bad restart there on the bottom side. Ollie Reeves, Matthew O'Brien, your top 5.
Yeah, really good top 5 here. Very solid, honestly. And, you know, these laps are ticking down more and more. You know, now at this point, you're not thinking about the long run at all. You're not thinking about, you know, really anything other than getting that jump on the restart, getting that push, getting that, you know, momentum that you need in that corner entry, preferred lane, whatever that may be for your race car at this point. You know, we've had a lot of opportunities for guys to try and jump step that 44 machine in the lead, but no one's been able to just get him on that restart. AJ has a really good, just a really good understanding of where he needs to restart in the zone to be able to have that lead and that advantage into turn 1. And no one's really been able to hold a candle to him on that. So once again, another opportunity for the field to see if they can best him.
That's going to be interesting to see if anybody can do that. So what I want to point out here, since we came back green here on the air, Jason Oshkosh up 7 spots from the commercial break here. Up there in P11. We haven't talked about this 71 machine all race long, but just outside the top 10 here, looking to tweak his way into a top 10 finish here for that number 71 machine.
As we see, still trying to get the chew sorted out here, I believe, this time by. It's going to mean, actually, no, yes, the chew's just now happening. Going to mean the 99 is going to be on the inside lane here. And how about James Bomar in the 20, man? Really good starting position for him to be able to take advantage of, you know, some potential chaos being in the inside there. You know, I've always liked that when you're on the inside, especially at a track like this, you have the ability to pull down and, you know, find a good, really just find a good gap to go. You know, whether that's the inside, shoot the middle, stay in line. You see right there, James Bomar, you know, obviously a staple of the sim racing community, honestly, as far as I'm aware. Someone who I've been familiar with in other leagues before, and so it's really cool to see him show up and show out here in the SAAC Cup Series, and so gonna have a lot of good contenders here in the top 5 or 6.
That's gonna be interesting. You see the 44. He once again picks the top alongside Shafari and Diego Roland. He's got another opportunity to get another restart here with the 44. With a 5-lap dash here, pace car in, back in the United Reynolds restart zone. It's going to be AJ Hyder, Diego Roland front row, back to green here. 5 laps to go. Is wrecking in the back again. Jamie Wright around.
Wrecking in the next gens further on back. That's going to bring out the caution. Nonetheless, AJ Nichols showed us once again a really good restart, but really not the end of the race for this 89 car that he wanted at all.
We can look further back here. Jamie Wright just looks like on the tires here on the restart. Going to happen time and time again here. And then obviously the up horsepower definitely makes it a huge hit to the inside wall for Wyatt Roberts. Hate to see that. I know he's got people watching at home trying to cheer him on. Hopefully that 42 looks okay. But Another caution here late in the race. You look back at the 42, lots of damage to that left side of that machine. You'll see the 42 come back out on track here. I mean, you see that he might be crab walking a little bit there, so not sure. Definitely get that car looked at, or I would feel confident trying to bring that thing back on onto a green racetrack. But we'll go back here once again. And I mean, what a job for AJ Hyder, right? I'm not sure if our lap sled is going to be correct here. Yeah, 25 is definitely not enough, but I believe it didn't give us all the info once we got out of the session here. But obviously he's led well more than 25 laps today. But AJ Hyder, you know, outside of that first run where you got passed on pace by Connor Trafari, he's been the class of the field tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I think Trafari, you know, still just, you know, wondering, you know, how can I get around this guy, you know, AJ Nickel in the 44 car, as well as the 99. You know, these guys have both been, you know, really just tearing their hair out, trying to find a way to, you know, just break through and, you know, get that egg to crack, you know, for AJ. And you know, AJ's just been, you know, cool, calm, and collected every restart, you know, just really, you know, really quick to the throttle, honestly. You know, we see him hit that restart zone and immediately he's off and running. And so these guys have just really got to be able to, you know, pick up on the patterns and, you know, maybe make a different lane choice here, you know, go behind somebody else who you're not normally behind on these restarts, because, you know, if you keep doing the same thing, AJ's going to keep doing the same thing that he always does too. So, you know, you got to be able to switch it up. You got to be able to work together with the people around you if you want to be able to throw them an opportunity here to, you know, try something different. You see right there, Jafari going to take to the inside this time.
Jafari on the inside, I'll grab Diego Roland. He'll pick the top side. You see a lot of drivers, top side versus the bottom. So, yeah, I mean, you just start to see that on these restarts, I just feel like the bottom just isn't as strong as we thought it'd be. You see the choose cone there. And it's going to be, you see now, AJ Hyder, Connor Trafari. We've seen this battle before here in the restart, but this time it's going to be some drivers further back we've also been familiar with. And James Bomar, he's going to pick the top once again. So, and this is, you know, the strategy. What do you want to do, right? Because you saw Bomar, he started in third, and he decided, I'm going to go back to fifth on the top because I think that's going to be a better line for me. So, interested to see if we can go green here for more than, you know, half a lap. If that top side will work for Bomar, if him, you know, deciding to lose 2 spots is going to pay off advantage here with this natural green-white checkered. You'll see the pace car once again, a hard left turn down pit road. AJ Hyder, Connor Trafari, back in the restart zone. Back green here, 2-lap dash here from Homestead.
Oh, and a way better jump on the bottom there. That's going to be the best chance that they get right now.
Jafari
going into turn 1.
Jafari side by side with AJ Hyder. AJ giving them plenty of room to make that corner work. It's going to be a side by side off turn 1 and 2. AJ, though, with the run off the top, he's going to get clear.
Yeah, and you see right there, Trafari going to have to settle for second place. He's going to rip the outside wall, though. Try to get the momentum that he needs to try and make a move on this last lap that we're coming up on. White flag.
Connor Trafari, a huge head of steam as we get the white flag for AJ Hyder. The issue is this Jafari's kind of boxed in, wrecking in the back. A huge wreck in the back. We'll look at the race for the lead. Jafari up to the top sign one more time here, going through 1 and 2.
Oh, he's going to have a huge head of steam here. But look at the 99 car wrapping the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to, oh man, a huge block from the leader. These guys are going to be going at it going into turn 3.
Side by side for the win. Side by side for the race. The 99 of Diego Roland trying to put a slide job on the 44. And he's going to get clear. Out of turn 3 and 4, the 99 of Diego Roland steals it from Homestead.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff from the 99 car. Where did he come from?
Wow. I mean, you talk about what a way to get up to the front there. I thought it was going to be between Trafari and AJ Hyder. But out of nowhere, those two fighting for their lives there for the win. Allows the 99 to get to the inside of AJ Hyder, Diego Roland. Win number 1 here in Season 6 here from Homestead.
I don't even know what to say. Like, you know, I really thought that inside line was gonna have something special for, you know, the 44 of AJ Nickel, and they did. You know, the 99 to 31, and they just had something, you know, linked up here. You know, they figured it out, and it really paid off for them. Unbelievable.
AJ Hyder comes home P2, Connor Trafari P3, but what a move, what a way to win that race. Last lap pass, going into 3 and 4. I mean, you think about, you know, almost, you know, reverse kind of Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick ripped the top and kind of just passed Ryan Blaney. This time, Diego Roland jumps to the bottom side, and he gets around the 44 of AJ Hyder. And you'll see him burn it down here on the front stretch. And what a way to do it. I mean, he earned it. What a win for that number 99 machine.
Yeah, I mean, just unbelievable. And to be quite honest, you know, considering the entire trajectory of his race, and we'll have to talk to him in this post-race show that we're starting up here, you know, he was really mired back in traffic for a while after a few restarts. And, you know, the chaos at the end of this race really allowed him to just, you know, chip away little by little, and then eventually just capitalize on it in a big way at the end there. But yeah, what a move to make it to make the last lap pass and the, you know, the side draft in the first place on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe AJ would have got him there with that block there on the bottom, but he just still had such a run that he still got the inside, and just basically he didn't overdrive the corner. He didn't use up AJ in any way, right? He just kind of planted it there on the bottom side and somehow made the pass work. I don't know what happened to the 44 there in the 3 and 4, but wasn't able to, you know, stick it there. Trying to, you know, pinch the 99 down, which we saw the 99 do so well this whole race, pinching someone down to keep the spot. AJ was not able to, you know, keep the speed up, keep the grip up, and really Diego just rolled around them on the bottom and took it away from that 44 there to win his first race of the season.
Yeah, and just what a statement win for Roland. I mean, I just love that he had that bounce back energy, and he never stopped trying. Never stopped, you know, his momentum moving forward. And so, you know, as we get ready to talk to him here, you know, I mean, we're definitely going to be interested to pick his mind about this. But, you know, they got to give your flowers to AJ too, right? You know, he led the majority of this entire race and had the most outright speed in long run and short run pace, but it just didn't go his way with the cautions at the end.
Yeah, I mean, you got to feel bad for AJ, but, you know, P2, you can't complain about it. P2, obviously, we know he wants to go for win here, but it goes to Diego Roland. And speaking of him, we have him down here in victory lane tonight. Let's go ahead and talk to the number of this number 99 Mobile One Camaro. Diego, it's Christian Matthew up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Got you loud and clear, man.
Well, what a way to win it. Last lap pass, going through 3 and 4. No contact made, just muscled your way around that 44 the hard way. Obviously, I felt like you were a top 3, top 4 car all race long. Got kind of mired back there in 7th or 8th there after, you know, a bad pit stop there. And we're able to, you know, time these last couple restarts, right, to get yourself that track position and somehow find yourself back in victory lane. What's the feeling? And, you know, just walk us through your race tonight.
Oh man, dude, it's an incredible feeling to win one of these races here in SAAC. But obviously, you know, I got the invite from the league owner saying, "Hey, you want to run the cup race since you know you didn't cause any shenanigans in the truck race?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll give it a try." And you know, I don't like these cup cars, these next gens, like just the way they drive. It's just so unnatural from what a regular stock car should drive. But you know, we came in with no practice prior to, you know, the official practice session, but you know, I had helpful tips from my teammates, you know, AJ Hyder and Contrary. You know, they gave me the good stuff, what to do with my brake bias, my setup, the pinion, whatnot. But just incredible feeling, just so unexpected that I would win in my first start this season.
Obviously, talk us through that. You know, that first win. Obviously, you know, you talked about having a good teammate with AJ and all those Uprise guys, right? But you talk about, you know, the perseverance you had to, right? You talked about not liking an action, and for a while we thought it was kind of race over for you, getting mired back racing at 12 for P8, and you just couldn't make the pass work on that bottom side, and just having to persevere through these restarts to give yourself a shot here at the end.
Yeah, I mean, the dirty air in these cars, especially when you're behind like 17 people, or you got one side, you got one guy, on top of you, another one, in front of you, another one behind you, it just messes up the entire like aerodynamics of the car and how it drives. Especially with the rubber laying down on the track, that played a significant role in what lane was more dominant in the long run. But I think we had the mindset of just keeping it easy. Let these guys burn up their rears, burn up their stuff, and we'll pass them in the long runs. With the tire advantage that we had, but yeah, aerodynamics wise and dirty air definitely played a big role with how I was able to drive my car in a different driving style that I'd usually do. But yeah, again, thanks to my upright teammates at 44 of AJ, we had a good battle up there for the first 40 laps or so. He was definitely the more dominant driver this entire race, but it just sucks and is a bummer that we keep having these cautions at the end of the race that just ultimately screws up drivers that should be winning this race.
Well, at least I figured, if anybody was okay with you winning, it's probably a teammate there in AJ. Obviously, like, I agree, probably deserved this win tonight, with the cautions kind of putting away there. But, race number 1 here for you at SAAC, win number 1 for you in this number 99 team. Diego, congratulations on a great win, a great race for you in this whole 99 team. But before we let you go, anybody else you'd like to thank here for tonight's run here from Homestead?
Well, obviously, I gotta thank my teammates once again. AJ Hyder, Connor Jafari, cleaning, racing me clean throughout the entire race. They're good teammates. They're good guys. Chris Lilly, team owner Uprise. He's a good guy. Nikki B, also my other teammate for Uprise too. He didn't really do much this race, but I got to shout him out. And to my sponsors, Mobile One, best gasoline, I guess. I don't know, better than Sunoco, whatever the hell that is. And yeah.
Well, we definitely appreciate your time up here in HPTV booth, Diego. We wish you good luck here in your ventures here with SAAC as you find your footing here in season 6. But congratulations, and look forward to talking to you some more up here in the HPTV booth.
All right, yeah, appreciate it, man.
Diego Roland comes home victorious from Homestead. Matthew down here in pit road here with AJ Hyder, your second place finisher tonight here from Homestead.
On pit road with AJ Hyder. Gonna just ask you a quick few questions about your race, but yeah, obviously driver of the 44 car here, P2 at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Just walk us through that last restart first of all, because that was pretty chaotic from our point of view. How was it for you in the car?
Yeah, it was pretty frustrating to say the least. I don't know. At the end of the day, though, we were just trying to get the best finish possible for our team, and that's exactly what we did. We got a 1, 2, 3 for our guys there at Uprise. Wish it would have been us that came up on top, but yeah, it's frustrating because the green flag run that we had there, I had it dialed in. It was just smooth sailing from there, and then we got a caution for a guy in last again. Nailed the first 2 restarts. Felt like I had it one there. Then we get the other yellow, and then yeah, it was just an even restart with me and Connor there. I got him clear, and I don't know, just at the end there, it was just too tight for me to hold off Diego right there.
Yeah, obviously that Uprise fabrication car was speedy, fast on the long run and the short run. But speaking of the short run, AJ, talk to us a little bit about how you were able to get such good jumps and what the mentality was coming to those restarts every time, because you really dominated the field when it came to that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was just really about working with my teammates, Connor and Diego, on the restarts. We coordinated with each other when we were going to go, and we were able to get good launches that way. And yeah, when you get restarts, you're able to pretty much hold off the rest of the guys just with how the aero is on this car.
Yeah, and obviously, talking about handling overall, it was a hot and slick day at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Did you feel like, your car and your driving style really complemented the hot and slick racetrack? Or did you feel like you were also, having a handful of race car at times?
I think a little bit of both. This is our first race running the 10% horsepower with this Cup car, so there's definitely some stuff to learn here, and I think we learned a lot. Yeah, that I think the first or two green flag runs that we had, I was struggling on the later half just with rear grip, just with how the power is. But again, by the time we had that last green flag run there, I had it dialed in on the middle groove. It was just playing it the whole time and wasn't really having any issues with the rear. It was just yeah, getting lucky on the restart there.
Yeah, well, you definitely brought a lot of speed here once again from the Homestead Miami Speedway. Before we let you go, wanted to give you an opportunity to shout out or thank anybody for the second place position here.
Yeah, just want to shout out Diego real quick. I know how long he's been trying to work it, on his craft, and he's really improved over the last couple of months. So super pumped about seeing him get a win in a while, and Connor with the P3, of course. And I just want to shout out Chris for also racing with us, and Shuey too. Yeah, Shuey's also on our team. Shout out to him too. I want to shout out the guys at Bronify.love. If you really like LeBron James music, then Bronify.love's your place to go to.
And we really appreciate your time here down on pit road. But yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your evening. Thanks for spending time with us.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
AJ Harder, P2, from the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. We'll go ahead and talk to your P3 finisher tonight, Connor Trafari. Really good run for him in that 9 machine. We'll go ahead and talk to him out of his race car. Connor, it's Christian and Matthew up here in HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, P3 for you in this whole 9 team. We really thought it was going to be a battle between you and that 44 for the win tonight there on that final restart, but fortunately just couldn't get a good enough run to get to that 44 hider tonight. And then ultimately, Diego with the last lap pass there in the 3 and 4 to steal it away from the 44. But I felt like you were really a top 2 car all night. Felt like, especially that first run, you were the only guy to really get up and make a pass there on the 44, who led probably 80% of the laps tonight here. But obviously, coming home P3, walk us through your race tonight and walk us through, the thoughts of your finish tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with this finish. First of all, for Uprise Motorsports, we got a technically a 1-2-3. Diego is more of a truck guy, but he got the call up for tonight. So nice 1-2-3 for us. Really good points for the team standings. I think that put us up to 2nd place. But overall, yeah, it was a really good race. I really don't like Homestead that much. I feel like in past races and past cars, and even last season in the championship race, I feel like I've never really had the pace on the short run, and definitely not on the long run. I just feel like I can never really get this track kind of under my control. But something changed tonight. I qualified really well. I think I qualified, I think it was either 4th or 3rd, something like that. I know it was up front. And yeah, just tried to take care of my stuff the first 20-25 laps, and then just start to slowly put the pressure on whoever was in front of me. And I think it was about middle that race there on the very long run, I was able to save a little more tires than AJ, which I feel like I've never done before, which is really nice, and was able to get past him. And then we had caution and stuff, and then we had that final caution with all the restarts. Really sucked that we couldn't kind of get a longer run than 2 laps. I really thought I had a decent shot if we just had maybe 1 or 2 more laps in a run there. But I mean, overall, I can't be that disappointed. I definitely had a chance at AJ there on the last lap, but I thought he would run the top there, so I kind of faded a little bit low, and then he pulled low, and I kind of wish I ran the top there and ripped it and maybe had a shot. But overall, I really can't complain about tonight.
Yeah, you kind of answered every question I was going to ask you after that, but obviously you come home P3 behind your 2 teammates, and looking forward into next week and the weeks forward, right? Is there a track that you kind of have circled on your calendar? Is a track that you think you can go and win at? Obviously, you were in the mix there last lap at Daytona, got hooked from the lead. You can't come home 3rd tonight. You're so close, but is there a track you really think that you can get it done here in these next coming weeks?
Oh man, I mean, I really think all the tracks ahead of the schedule I had put above Homestead. Honestly, like I really thought I would maybe get a top 10 here and just kind of squeak by and look forward. But honestly, I mean, really any of these tracks, if they kind of go like how am I elected tonight, I really think I could probably rack up a few wins this season.
And then looking into next week, obviously we go to Sebring International for, the first time, the second time here technically on the network, but the first time here for us, in the next gen cars. Obviously, is there an outlook for Sebring next week? Obviously, we're not used to having NASCAR go to a Sebring.
Yeah, I mean, 90-minute race is it's gonna be a very tall task for sure. It's gonna be very draining, but I'm really not that big of a Sebring guy. I feel like even sports cars and like the Sebring 12-hour and stuff, I've never really figured out the layout, so I'll definitely need to run some laps for sure. But I mean, I like the road course package with this car. I really think I have speed compared to a lot of the field, so I think I could definitely have a strong run that week.
Well, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what we can do next week from Sebring. So obviously, we congratulate you. Another good run here, and from Homestead. Obviously, literally fast here last season and in the season 5 finale. You come home here, come home P3. So congratulations on that, Connor. But before we let you go, anybody you want to thank? Appreciate shout out for tonight's run here from Homestead.
Yeah, first big shout out to my sponsor Lot 9 Brewing on the side of the car and really just covering the whole car. They'll be on the car for I think basically the whole season. I don't think I have any special schemes coming up from Chris Lilly, who made that amazing scheme. Big shout out to all of my teammates at Uprise. This could be a few people. It's gonna be Chris Lilly, Shuey. Both kind of got screwed there late. Diego, of course, AJ Hyder, and Nicholas Budimlik. Big shouts to them. Big shout out to y'all at it's high velocity, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, big shout out to y'all for the broadcast, of course, and big shout out to Cody Rivera's as well for putting on this league. Love racing it every Thursday, and can't wait to race it in the weeks to come.
We look forward to seeing what you can do next week. We appreciate the kind words, and I wish you good luck there from our first road course on the schedule there from Sebring.
Appreciate it. See you then.
Yep. Connor Trafari comes home P3 tonight, and Matthew, what a race! What a last couple of laps there. Obviously, I felt like we would have loved to see that long green flag run tonight, but obviously wasn't meant to be, and we still somehow got a photo finish. What a race, right? To get the call here tonight from Homestead.
Yeah, and just 0.2 of a difference between that, that finish there that we saw at the end, and it seems every time we step in the booth, Christian, it's something new, right? Which is always so cool, and I love that Homestead just brings about those great races. From the drop of the green, we had those those slow yellows just getting started, getting our footing underneath ourselves, but as the race continued, we had, a lot of jostling around. We had really good battles, really all throughout the field. Saw some 3 wide, saw some 4 wide. We did get, a few green flag runs, long green flag runs. Didn't get those green flag pit cycles that we anticipated on, but nonetheless, we still had some cautions that kind of acted like the stages, essentially, that we see nowadays in the Cup Series. And, that basically allowed for, pit strategy, and, getting on and off pit road effectively. And, honestly, yeah, between AJ and our eventual race winner, we basically had the tale of 2 different stories, right? We had AJ, just kind of commanding the field all day and doing his own thing in the front, and then we also had we had our race winner was obviously mired back there, like we mentioned a few times, and talked to him right now about it. It's just insane how quickly all that can change. And so for Diego, that 99 Mobil 1 machine just really had a hard charging later end of the race, complemented by those yellows that we had. And obviously it, was looking like it was going to go the way of AJ with those restarts and how quickly he was able to jump out front. But, as more and more cautions kept coming, it just allowed the 99 car to, chip away more and more, and then eventually find himself in a position to just dive it in there and see if there was anything left in his car for him. And, AJ's one bobble was coming off of turn 4, and that was when it mattered most. And so was able to, get clear of AJ and drive off into the sunset.
Yeah, it was definitely an insane battle. Obviously, congratulations to AJ on still a really good race. Nonetheless, was by far probably the best car tonight. But it just takes one bobble, and unfortunately, that was it for him to give up the race win tonight. But a good point stay for the 44 nonetheless. As we'll go ahead and take a look at our unofficial race results tonight here from Homestead here for the SAAC Cup Series. But talk to your top 3 finishers in Roland, Hyder, and Trafari. You look at Ollie Reeves finishing back there in P4. A good run for him. And Gabriel Dahari, remember, he was laps down. He was one of those drivers that got trapped a lap down after that long green flag run. He recovers to a P5. You look at Andretti Robinson back there in the 45. He'll finish back there in 6th. James Bormar in 7th. Malachi Drake, Matthew O'Brien, and Jason Rajcock rounding out that top 10.
yeah, what a good finish for Malachi Drake. Obviously talked about him throughout the race, but going to look at Christopher Robinson in that 11th place position just outside the top 10. Gabe Cazole in the 18 car, 12th. Joaquin Stewart, 79 car in 13th. Brian Lorenzo going to be 14th. Connor Zoll rounding out your top 15. Cody Rivera is in that 16th place position. Chris Lilly in the 53 car going to be 17th. Donovan David in the 18th finishing position. Declan George in 19th. And Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in that 00 going to finish rounding out your top 20.
I expected Jurgensmeyer to be a little bit more competitive tonight, but you'll see him finish rounding out the top 20. But looking further back here, Brad Sawinski, I believe. I remember him telling me in the Discord how to say it, and I'm not going to get it right, Brad. I'm so sorry. But you'll see Austin Dorian back there, P22. Amir Bascom, P23. Jockey Tarpley back there, P24, running out the top 25. Shumi back there in the 68. Was up there running inside the top 5, just unfortunately got bitten by that bad bug there at the end of the race there. He'll finish P25. Steven Maggio back there in P26, followed by Nicholas Budlimic in the 60. Wyatt Roberts, P29. P28. P29 will go to Justin Rott in that 76. Fidel Fabian running out your top 30.
You see right here, 31st through 37th, Jamie Wright, 4 laps down, and then we get to our drivers that finished before this race concluded. Larry Miles in the 30 car, Michael Walls, Duncan Faw, Chase Gibbons, Chris Downey, and Wayne A. Kennedy rounding out your 37 car field here from Homestead.
And you talk about the highs and the lows for Duncan Faw. Won last week in a very exciting manner, getting through the wreck there. Comes home in DNFs here from Homestead, so obviously an uphill battle for that 61 tonight. But, looking further back here, you talk about some of the drivers who had a good race, had a good recovery. You talked about Matthew, you talked about Malachi Drake that started way in the back, up the P8 there at the finishing spot. And obviously you have to talk about Diego Roland. His first start here in SAAC comes home victorious.
And obviously, just a great night here from the Homestead Miami Speedway. Different vibe than a normal Homestead race that we're used to under the lights, but what more could you want? A photo finish, some long green flag runs, a natural green-white checkered, and then a lot of good racing all throughout the field here. And how about those angles from the HVTV studio? There's a lot of effort goes into these broadcasts, and we hope that you guys enjoy these on all of our platforms. Please feel free to support us, like, subscribe, comment, and continue to show up for these live streams, because we really enjoy when we can engage with you guys and put on the best show for y'all. So we hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did up in the booth. But once again, just a really good broadcast from my perspective all around, and a really great race.
And definitely a great race, to say the least here. But once again, kind of echoing what Matthew said, we appreciate all the support that you guys put in there and funnel in and everything else. We love talking to you guys in the chat and interacting with you guys. But obviously, if you guys are new to the channel, we'd appreciate if you guys would hit that subscribe button over there on the YouTube side. Hit the thumbs up and share the broadcast with friends and family to just grow this network as big as we can, right? We put in a ton of time and effort in the background here to make sure we can put on the best show as possible for you guys here with the abilities that we can. But we appreciate all love and support, guys. We appreciate SAAC for allowing us to continue to come on here and put on a show for them, and allowing us to, call races here for the SAAC Cup Series for Season 6. But we once again congratulate Diego Roldan on his first win of the season here in Season 6, as we look forward into Sebring next week, our first road course here in Season 6. But from myself and Matthew Prochaski up here in the HVTV booth, we say goodnight here on Thursday, and we hope everybody has a good rest of the night. Be on the lookout as we go in tomorrow as the 8RC Pro Series. It goes to Bristol Motor Speedway for their third week of their campaign, and then the ISNF Cup Series goes to Iowa Speedway for their week 3 campaign as well. So be on the lookout for that. But once again, we hope everybody has a great rest of their Thursday night, and we'll see you guys on the flip side. And once again, you've been watching SAAC Cup Series production here on High Velocity TV.